Okay, yesterday we have seen the modularization approach for the first test. We are converted from linear to modularized. So what we did was basically we removed all the straightforward coding, that is like this basic coding lines, and used the reusable functions from the operations class, which I have created for infrastructure level functions such as set text, click link, all the basic operations on objects. Okay, so that's that is called reusability, which also comes under OOPS concept and modularization. So basic, it's interwoven into our ultimate automation framework, which is hybrid in nature. So modularization and reusability we have introduced yesterday. Modules, what do we do for modules? Modules for maintainability. So basically, if you subdivide everything into modules like this, you can easily maintain them, in the sense that if I want to change something in like click link, okay, so wherever this is used, I don't have to go there and change. It's like it can be used 1,000 times or 10,000 times. So all I need to do is go there and change just in one function, and it will change everywhere it is called, right? So for example, I don't want to click link or button, I just want to print click link, okay, this X bar. Then I can change one time and it will be reflected multiple times wherever this is called. So that is the maintainability, and the maintainability is achieved by only through modularization, if you subdivide them into modules. So what is modularization? Subdivide code into modules. For what? What is the purpose? Maintainability. Okay. So everybody with me on this? Modularization, and I have divided everything into modules. Okay, we will I will explain these on the go. And keyword driven approach. Okay, keyword driven approach means these are keywords. The keywords are nothing but function names. So everything is driven by these keywords, because I am calling these everywhere, right? Setup.launch, which is a function, click link, set text. So everywhere these are called. So these are called keyword driven approach. Keyword driven means reusable functions. So reusability comes into picture in the keyword driven or reusable functions approach. So in terms of infrastructure level functions or page level functions are different. So this is also satisfying the OOPS concept, object oriented programming. Okay, one of OOPS concept is we have already discussed in Java, which is encapsulating. What is encapsulating? Just imagine a capsule. Okay, the capsule has the medicine inside, and we close the capsule, right? So the patient who is, they just pop the pill, okay, pop the capsule or whatever. So he doesn't know what's inside. He doesn't have to know. So it's basically hiding the important code in a capsule kind of structure, and only you will see the outer structure. So that's what is the main intention of keyword driven. So we are hiding this. We are just calling this, right? And I know the purpose and I know what to call. I'm calling. I just want to know click link, right? I know what to want. What do you want to do? So I want to click a link. So I just call from operations class. That's all I know. But what is inside, I don't have to know. Okay, I should know if I am constructing the whole framework and code, okay, but for the outsiders, I might hide this. How? Okay, you might ask how I am hiding. I can just control click and go and check the code, right? So here I'm not hiding, but I can hide if I make it part of a core, because this is a core project, right? Which is purely Java, right? And I can make a jar out of it. What is jar? Java archive. So I can make a jar out of and distribute over as a dependency. So in that case, I can hide the whole code of this. So all you have to do is just import that jar and it will appear on here, import, okay, which I imported like this. It will import the jar instead of this package.class. Then I'll be able to use them. So in that sense, I can encapsulate, so, or hide it. So when I don't have to do the jar here because it's not needed, because you need to know all this, so I am not hiding. So what I'm talking about, so for example, I need to make a jar out of it. It will come like this. So I can import the jars as part of build path. I can put one of the jars, let's say automation core.jar, okay, so which will include operations.java and everything else. So I can make it part, and all I have to do is just call. So you don't even know unless you also import the source code. Okay, so you can also import source code for this, but that's fine. So everything is encapsulated here. Now, how do I make a jar out of it? That's possible. So you can simply export it as jar. You can make everything, the whole code as save as jar, just like I exported as zip file. You can. Okay, so this is what we do. This is what we do, and this is the jar. So if I make the jar for the core project and just add this, then you will be able to use it similar way. You don't have to know the code. Okay, so anyways, that's for encapsulation. I am just explaining the framework out, the concepts of framework itself. Then we will use these concepts in our code. So it's very important to know what is what. Then page objects, basically we have been directly passing XPaths, right? Which is also not a good way of coding. So it's good for starters, but not good for the advanced users. So again, we have to save these somewhere else, which is called page objects model. Again, this is also for encapsulating XPaths. I don't want others to know what I'm operating upon. Okay, here I already hidden what's inside the click link. I can also hide this. Okay, so for that I created page objects. This is for the other example for the flight reservation application, but here I can keep all the XPaths, which we will do. Okay, so as a public static final strings, I can hide all these like this. Okay, then data driven for what? Data driven for passing the data. So where I'm passing data, for example, I'm setting the text, right? I'm also passing XPath. Apart from that, I'm also passing data, what to enter, like first name, last name, all those text box fields. And I'm also putting the data inside the test, right? Which is also not standard way of coding. Okay, unless these are, you can declare and assign few values, but not all of them here in the test. It won't look good. Test is for just calling and running, executing. That's all. You don't need to show all the code with 1,000 lines. So it has to be short and simple. Okay. So where should we keep the data then? Okay. Then good idea to keep the data outside in the external file somewhere, preferably Excel spreadsheet, which is good of storing the data. Okay. So how do we read the data if you store in Excel spreadsheet? So we created a utils. I'll explain the utils. Those utils come under Excel utils. Okay. So all I need to do is just read the Excel data by using one of these functions. Control O will open all the functions. So I can get test data from XLSX and passing three things: file path and test case name and the whatever row the header is. Okay. So read the test data from Excel spreadsheet and enter the values for each key in the parameterized function. So instead of putting all the data here, we can pass from data. So that comes under data-driven approach. That is also covered. And utility functions. So for example, I need to call read the data from Excel. Okay. Then if I have to do that, wherever I call the data from Excel, for each cell, I have to put the whole code here, like 10 lines of code every time. That will cumbersome whole test case. So instead, again, I will create a util, which is a reusable function like this, and just call this. Just like infra functions, I'll create a util functions. The difference between infra and util is infra is for infrastructure level, basic operations, like just like roads or infrastructure, basically to navigate on. So that's what we are creating infrastructure for, to navigate in the page. We have to click, we have to set text, we have to select radio button, blah blah blah. Whereas Excel is for utility. Okay, just like electricity and water. So these are all the need basis. Okay, only if I want to call Excel spreadsheet and read data from it, I'll use Excel utils, right? So that's why they are called utils. So they are categorized into utils and put in them. So that is the difference between utility and infrastructure level. So these will be basically for usefulness. You can utilize them. Okay, then reporting. Reporting is what you have executed the test case and you store all these logs here, but that's not enough. You have to report them to your lead or whoever they want to see the test case execution, how they went and everything. So in that case, you have to capture the screenshots and store them in a file, preferably Word document or text file or PDF file. Okay, so that is taken care by reporting utils. So reporting is, again, I put them in the utils only because they are kind of utils. Report utils. Okay, we'll take a look at this. Finally, there are 200 test cases and you don't want to execute one by one here, sitting before the computer clicking this button. That's what we do, right? To execute this, we'll come here and execute like this. But there are 200 test cases. This is called debugging and executing for your own purpose. I mean, you want to make sure everything is working fine. But once it is done, you want to run the whole regression suite. You know what is regression? To make sure whatever defect fixes occur, so it's not breaking the existing functionality. So you have to run the whole test case suite. So you don't want to do this when you sitting in front of the computer. So that we will take care by pushing the whole code to continuous integration, configuration management tool like GitHub or Subversion, then giving that code base to and integrating it with Jenkins or any other continuous integration tool. So what it will do, it will simply take the code in and trigger it. And where do we trigger? That is another matter. Okay, so you don't want to keep your laptop or computer at office. So you can create virtual machines. So this is not our part. This is basically infra team part. Infrastructure team is a separate team. You can ask them. So they will set up. They will make the whole code run on a virtual machine instead of your local machine. So that when 100% is automated. You don't have to intervene manually. Okay. So infrastructure means interacting with all these elements, you already know. Then logging is very important. Logging, we are logging as if the developer would log by putting all the timestamps and what operation we are doing and where we are doing, like this. Okay, yesterday we have seen set X on this X path and what we are setting, everything. So this will look nice in the report. Okay. Okay, so today we will look into that part of code, making it possible. Right, let's see. Okay, so yesterday we have seen modularization approach, right? So modularization means simply we modularized. We didn't do further. So we will continue with the modularization for the other test case also. All right. Then I just segregated them into linear framework and modular framework. Then we will create one more, which is hybrid. So I don't want to call it hybrid because it's ultimate framework. So I'll just put it in a smoke or regression. So in realistically, we will just call them either smoke test or regression test. Either the test case should fall into smoke test category or regression test category. So we'll create those packages by smoke test or regression suite, and we'll continue. So by default, those will be hybrid framework only if I don't specify anything here. So these are just for the learning purpose, linear and modularized. Okay. So, okay. And we will also convert this normal Java test case into test JUnit test case, which I just did like this, just for the example, but I'll create them in the beginning. And test ng and Maven we'll do at the end probably, because if I convert the whole project into Maven, whole project will be called Maven project. So I don't want to do that. Once we're done, we can create the whole project as separate Maven. So you can either use Maven or non-Maven project for your practice. Okay. So initially what we have to do, initially in the modularization approach, we have to instantiate everything. Instantiations, that's a standard practice. Whatever you want to instantiate, just instantiate in the beginning, like operations or setup or utils. If I'm using utils, use it here, like Excel utils. I'm just showing example. I don't want to use this right now. This way, you can have all the instantiations in the beginning of the code so that you know where they are, right? As soon as you do this, the import statement will be added. This one, right? So I don't want to call this, I'll delete them. Some you don't have to instantiate because some classes might have static functions like keyboard utils, remember? So keyboard utils, what I did was directly call them. Did I call them somewhere here? Or the upload function, I guess. Yeah, robot keyboard utils dot. So I didn't need to call them. So also wherever I needed to call as in non-static way, I can also use new keyword directly. So you might ask, why didn't I instantiate this? Because I'm only using keyboard utils 2 times. So I didn't have to create instance of this like ku keyboard utils ku is equal to new keyboard utils and ku dot key, right? So just for 2 times, I don't have to do that. I can call them non-static way like this or static way like this. Okay. The reason we have to create, we must create for infra level functions because we are going to use infra level functions everywhere, like 1,000 times, because that's what the whole automation about, right? We have to interact with them. So it's a good idea. Okay. So then I will go with modularization approach. Going further, I need to create WebDriver. Okay. Initial, I mean instantiating, and then just initializing with null value just in the beginning. So this comes in the beginning, so I'll put it in the beginning. Okay. Then, okay, what we are going to do is we are going to remove these extra lines, right? The linear approach lines, system.set property and WebDriver driver is called new Chrome driver. So where in the utility, I mean reusable or infrastructure or set of functions we have created for this equivalent code. Yesterday we have done that. So I am going to remove this. Yeah. And including this, right? So that is coming from setup class. So setup, I created a static class, so I don't have to instantiate it. Static function, I mean. Setup.launch yesterday. That will take care of opening the browser, launching the URL, and maximizing it. So this one, right? And here also I can control which browser. So it asks URL, browser type, and driver path. Okay. So URL is this one, right? So what I'm going to do is, after the instantiation, what I have to do, I have to declare the variables. That is the second part, variable declaration. So let's keep it on the up. Okay. So this will be my base URL, right? Actually, base URL means still here only, but since we are only using this URL for one time, so let's call this base URL. So in real time, in your real project, you will be having something like http yourprojectname.com. That will be your base URL, and slash something, slash registration, slash sign up, slash sign out, slash accounts. So all this will be different pages. So base URL will, you can keep it somewhere and just add this, append this rest of the alls after slash later. So this is, let's treat this as base URL for now. Okay, so we got the base URL. And what is the problem here? The problem is single backslash, which you need to replace by what? What do you have to do? Double backslash, right? So you might ask, what about this? This also has double slash, right? So you have to put one each first. So there will be 4 slashes like this. One more is, I think, so for this we don't need this. Okay, URL, you don't have to do this. Okay. Oh, you just need to put this. Okay, so I'll keep it back. Yeah, in URL it is acceptable. In path, file path is not. Okay, so as long as it's accepting, that's fine. Okay, the error is shown here as we haven't passed the appropriate URL. So our URL is base URL. Okay, so then comes browser. So what is the browser we are executing currently? Browser is, or we can call browser type equals to Chrome. Okay, then comes the driver path. So why we are entering all this driver path and stuff like that? Because we have to set the system property, right? So based on the browser type, I set the system property, and the property name is webdriver.chrome.driver. That is hard coded inside. So because it's Chrome, you don't have to parameterize this one. All we have to parameterize is where this driver is stored. Then instantiate the Chrome driver. For Chrome, instantiate the Firefox, everything is taken care here. And then finally get the URL and maximize. So everything is taken care, including returning the driver. So this is a perfect function for our initialization of browser and everything. Okay, so where did we store the driver path? Do anybody remember yesterday? So all the paths must be in either configuration or constants. Okay, so I created configuration, which we'll also use later on. For configuration file, we have to know the property utilities, how to read the properties and everything. So that's why I didn't use it right away, but I created yeah. So the Chrome driver is here, Chrome driver E, same path. You can actually put your own path. Okay, so one time only, so that you don't have to change every time. That is one way. Or other way is in the data package. I created a constants class, and in that also I created a public static string, and I pass. So basically either you can put it here or you can put it there, but right now you put it here. Okay, if you have D drive, you put it D drive, and you can also change the workspace location, and I suggest you to keep the drivers folder. So this basically resides in here. I'll show you. Okay, so in the somewhere in the why I'm closing this. Okay, anyway, just to get going with it. Driver path. Okay, so what is the driver path now? Constants dot. So since it's a static variable, I can directly call using the class name. So what is the variable name? Anybody remember? How do you call the variable name if you don't remember? These are all basic. I mean, if you understand, speak out. Otherwise, just.
I have a question actually.
Yeah, go on. What question to my question or answer to my question or what? Constants dot.
Sorry,
okay, let me finish this.
sorry.
Okay. Constants
Okay.
dot. How do you type? That was my question. So I know Chrome driver. So all you have to do is just type partially. I know Chrome driver, something like that. I don't exactly know. So let's try this. Okay. So I just typed CHRO. Then it popped down here Chrome driver. Then I would select. So this is how you call. Okay. Go ahead with your question now. Is it related to this or something different?
No, that's related to this because I saw yesterday 2 of your documents like operation and linear approach, modularization things. But the thing is, like, what I feel like the thing you already set it up. So that's why when we import in our system, most of the thing it doesn't work. So I feel like it's better if you create something in front of us, then we can really go through like what's the next process and what is coming up.
Yeah, so that's I want to do because this project.
Because the thing is you are showing right now, that's already pre-made things. You already set it up. So that's why some things really like goes out of our mind, like what is this things coming from, or what is this, like why is this behaving something like that. So I feel like it's better if you create something in front of us so that we know like what is going on, what is the upcoming step, and how could we execute things.
Right. Yeah, I understand your problem. So basically, I created during this first batch. Okay, so that's why I'm taking. It will take a lot of time if I keep typing. So I want to cover other things. That's why I'm going with this. So for example, this launch function. Okay, so if I explain like this, you will be able to understand anyway. I can type the whole thing from the scratch, but that will take a lot of time. Whole hour will be spent on that. Okay, so I don't want to do that. You can go through this function. Okay. So what I'm doing here, public static WebDriver launch. Launch is my function name. It's returning WebDriver, and I wanted to take 3 things: URL, browser, and driver path, and then instantiate the driver and initialize with null. And I created a switch case for browser type because I want to cover. I should be able to run on any browser. Now, if it is Chrome browser, system.set property, and this is the property name, and this is the property value parameterized, and then driver is instantiated with new Chrome driver. Then breakout, and then what I'm doing is driver.get URL, whatever I pass, then maximize, then return the driver. Okay, so this, if I explain like this, it will be done in 2 minutes so that we can concentrate on other things. So now if I share this, which I did yesterday with a Google, you might miss some functions, that's fine, but in the next class you can say that, and I'll cover. So I shared this in the Google Drive as well as the GitHub. Okay, so GitHub, everything is shared, but some may be missing. You will get a dependency error, red color. So for that, what you do, if you are intelligent enough, you can create that something temporarily to compensate for this one. In the next class, I'll share. Okay, so the sharing is on the need basis, so you don't get confused. What I'm trying to do is, instead of typing the whole thing, which is for the beginners, very beginners, that's why I typed the whole thing in the Java class. I took a lot of time for explaining Java so that you get used to it. Now, if I keep typing all this, it will take a lot of time, trust me. So I explain this and immediately ask the question. That's what I'm expecting. You ask the question immediately so that I can explain something is missing or if you don't understand, right? Now I call this setup dot launch wherever I want to call, something like this, setup dot launch. And for your reference, I kept this one, and here I'm removing completely, just directly setup dot launch. And going forward, we will actually follow the whole hybrid approach, so you don't see the unnecessary lines of code. So it's all on the need basis I'm explaining. So all I'm not doing is typing from the scratch. That's what your complaint is, right? So I explain you why, because to save time. Yeah, if I keep typing,
No,
you'll only
no, don't take it other way. Like, this is what I feel like. I thought like it would be much easier for like beginners like us, so that they know like what is it. I understand what are you saying.
Right. Is everybody feeling like you, or is it only your opinion? That's what I want to know.
No, that's my opinion. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about
Because others are comfortable, maybe, right? So if you're sitting in a classroom, you discuss with them. If you want, okay, two things. One is, if I keep typing everything, it will take a lot of time, and you, because of the limited time, right? We only have 2-3 classes more for this batch, and I want to cover as much as possible. So only way is to quickly go to that code and explain, and so that you learn, you practice later. So it all depends on you now. Once I teach this class, you practice more. So I am sharing whatever is required, and you practice more. You spend 2-3 hours. If I spend 1 hour in teaching, you spend 2-3 hours offline. Okay, so that way you learn. So that is one thing. And if I keep typing, it will cover less. I mean, last class I only took the book a flight reservation application. That's it. Now I want to show other sites also, which cover wide variety of application objects and everything, and different level, different approaches from the framework perspective. So it's up to you, but I would suggest get going with it and practice more. And immediately when you don't understand something, raise the question immediately. I mean, do not postpone it. You ask the question immediately, and I'll answer it, clarify it. I'll make sure that you understand right away. That's for sure.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, so do not worry about not typing. If I, you know what I'm saying is, one more time, if I keep typing, I will keep typing.
No, Singham, let me explain you the whole situation. What I told you, like, you know, the code is like preset. So sometimes what happened, like when you are typing something, like when you call the like any string or anything, sometimes it goes out of my mind, like, what is this coming from? So that's why I told you there is nothing on my mind. Okay.
Right. You have to ask the question immediately. That's what I'm asking you. Then you ask it immediately. I might be directly explaining some preset code, which is fine, because in real-time project, you have to get going with the existing project, existing code, right? So you don't have to start everything from the scratch in real-time project. And this is similar to that situation. I am going with the real-time project situation here. So in real time, you go join a project and already automation is in place, right? Somebody developed something. What you have to do, you don't ask them to show the code from the scratch. You just go and understand it and jump into it. That's what you do. Exactly.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. I thought like I have to write down all the codes and everything.
No, not exactly, sir. You have to understand the existing. You have to go with their approach, not our approach. So it's important to understand the out of the box situation. You have to think out of the box. Okay, this is not.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Right. Yeah, that's okay. But I suggest you ask the question right away. I mean, like I told you, because of the limited time and the real time project situation, I am explaining the best I could be. Okay, so all you have to do is, if you do not understand, right away ask the question. That's why I don't have to ask you to ask question. Right away you ask the question, interrupt me. Okay, that's the best way to learn, and practice later. Everybody with me? I mean, you are the only one speaking. I appreciate it. But what about the others? Are they sitting in the classroom, or are they remotely connected? I don't know the situation there. Okay, who spoke just now?
It's me, Russell.
Russell, right? Yeah, Russell, that's good. You asked it, and
No,
I'm
I
asking.
wasn't clear. Like I wasn't too clear. That's why I asked you like the whole things
Yeah, that's
because
okay. Yeah, that's good. And you express your, I mean, concern, which I understand. So right now, I know that okay, I'm actually going off the, I mean, out of scope, which you don't understand. So I have to understand that you didn't understand, so that I can understand in better manner. Okay, what about others like Imran B, Shukla, I know, so she's good. Faisal, Farhan, everybody okay with this approach?
Yes.
I can change. Yeah, I can change approach according to your needs. That's no problem. I can go slowly, I can go faster. It all depends on how your pace is. I have to match your pace. That's important. Okay. Anyway, without wasting more time, we'll get back to the code. So what I'm doing right now, so I am launching the browser in a reusable manner instead of coding everything here, right? So we have replaced that system.set property and WebDriver is called new Chrome driver, and now driver.get. This is also done. So I'll remove this, and this is already done from the setup level. So if not, we will also put them this thing sys out. Launch the Chrome browser and open the URL. So basically it's any browser. So I'm changing it generically. Open the URL. Okay, so that will be printed. So I'm making it reusable basically. So which is a good approach, right? Okay. So in real time also, in real time project, if something you don't like, you can make changes in reusable functions also. And all you have to consult is the existing automation tester or lead. Okay. Now Chrome browser will launch. That's it, done. So all we are doing is setup, browser setup, which is basically called prerequisites. What is prerequisites? You set up initial, like opening the browser, opening the URL, all these come under prerequisite. Okay. And synchronization, because you have to wait for the browser to load whole URL. So you can make it part of the setup also. So I'm making the changes on the go. So you observe and learn and ask questions immediately if you don't understand. So when I'm doing this, after getting URL and maximizing it, and then I can include the implicit wait right there. So I'm making it reusable. Okay, so since I know it's 50 seconds is too much, so I can make it 20 seconds. So that's, I made it part of setup itself so that I don't have to call it every time. So done, and synchronization is took care of. So I'm removing this, and maximization is also took care of, right? Okay. Now comes the fun part. What is that? Interactions, web interactions, and how did we do so far? Using the basic coding, driver.findElement by XPath or partial text or whatever. Okay, so for this partial text, I'll keep this B because we haven't created separate reusable function, which we don't need to. So now link text also, we pass the link. So I think I created some function. So let's see, op dot click link. Okay, click link by text. Okay, it is there. So let's use it. So all I have to pass is link text. Okay, now I'll tell you how did I call, which I didn't explain. I called it immediately, right? Which is fine. So click link by text is nothing but same function. It's repeatedly same functions. So in the click link by text, public void click link by text, I'm passing WebDriver and string link text. So driver.findElement by link text, whatever I did outside, I am doing inside. Link text, I am passing the link text as a parameter instead of hard coding. Then dot click, right? So this is just like an example, don't worry. So still I am modifying this, and final product will be appropriately shared. Okay, so this is not required. There are a lot of unnecessary coding involved. That's why you probably might be getting. Okay, I don't need to catch. So basically I created this for if something goes wrong first time. In the catch also I am retrying, which is also good way. So something goes wrong because of the link text is not available yet, it will come to the catch and it will retry this again. Okay, and then if still it doesn't work, it will throw the error. So just like normal click link here I am not doing anything. So the reason I put driver dot switch to default content is it is for the frames. So don't worry, you don't understand this, that's why I'm removing this right away. So default switch to, if I switch to something, I have to switch back to default content, but it's not required right now, so I'll remove the unnecessary coding. Okay, log is okay. Okay, so only two lines are required. Try drive.find element by XPath locator dot click and just log it and catch, log it as not okay and print it to the console, print it to the extractor to the console. And if you want to throw. So the difference between throwing and not throwing is I explained in the exception handling, right? Something will be tried. If exception, no exception, it will not enter catch. It will go forward. If something goes wrong here, it will throw exception. It will enter catch, and it will print this to the console, print the whole stack trace. And I have option to continue or abruptly end the test execution. So if I throw the execution, it will be ended right away. That means it will be ended execution. If I do not throw, it will continue, but it all depends if you want to throw it or not. Both are same. If you don't, if the link is not clicked, obviously in our situation, in for example in our web page, it can continue, but in real-time project it might not continue because link may be the last object in the page, and only upon clicking the link you will go to the next page. Obviously the continuation of execution is interrupted there, so it is better to throw in that case. So it all depends what you are working on currently. So that's why I commented out. So it's a reusable function. So once you understand one reusable function, that's it. That's all it takes. You can understand all of the reusable functions. And I created the what it does. This method will click on button or link with the given XPath. So once you understand this, everything else will be pretty much self-explanatory. Okay. Everything is just a repetition of the same thing. Click radio button. Same thing, driver.find element by XPath dot click. Okay, and as a XPath, I just as an example XPath I showed here. This is what I'm going to pass as XPath. And log. What is log? Log is part of just like sysout. Instead of sysout every time, I just put it in the log. And date utils, I'm printing date. So where is this date coming? I didn't explain, but I will explain when the time comes. So for some things you have to take for granted initially because you have to get going with something important at that point of time. Okay, so this will log date here and date pipe, then okay, then message, whatever message I'm passing from there, right? So date utils has timestamp. I'm simply printing the current timestamp using the local date time. Yesterday I explained a little bit about this. So this is simply to print the current date time using the local date time class. And I can format this date using the datetime formatter. These are all built-in functions. I'm just calling them in my own reusable function. So in this manner, I want mmdd yy hhmmss and sss. So this is to make it precise so that if something goes wrong, you can look into the developer logs, what happened at this point of time. So we immediately know what went wrong. So that's why it is important to log with the dates. And that's it, that printed log is date is printed over here. So it's all reusable. I'm calling something somewhere and I'm calling inside the call. So if you understand one time, you'll easily get it. Okay. Okay, so now here Selenium to ToolsQA test, and we are in here and click link by link text. Okay, so this is not required. Exactly, these two are same, right? If you want, I can keep both so that you can compare these later and understand. So when I share it. Okay, synchronization is also I created reusable function. Instead of repeating driver.manage.timeouts.implicitly wait, I can create a function of for it and pass just the time, max timeout. That's all. It would be very cool, right? So that's a reusability. It will be cool. So I created it in the operations also. Wait implicitly. So now you might ask me, this was not explained before. Yes, it was not, but I will now. If you ask question, I will immediately ask. So it is doing the same thing. So all I'm doing is I ask you to go through this after the class is over. Okay, so that would be easier for you and me. And you can save a lot of time also. You can learn new things. Okay, so wait implicitly. What I'm doing the same thing. Whatever I am doing outside, I am doing it inside. Same thing, but in reusable approach. Driver.manage.timeouts.implicitly wait, and here I was entering 50 or 20 seconds. So instead of hard coding, I parameterize this. I am entering timeout in seconds, and because it's timeout in seconds, I have to explicitly let the tester know, whoever is using it. I am creating this function, but it might be used for other testers also, right? Other automation testers. So it is very important to write everything explicitly. So I am writing this method will wait for object implicitly for a given time period in seconds. So when the person is calling this one, he will see everything like this. Then he will immediately know, oh, okay, this function is for this one. So that they will know the usage. That is very important. Okay, so that is done. And apart from that, I'm also logging, because every action needs to be logged, which is very important. So immediately, and in the reusable function, it is just one time, so that we don't have to repeat this. So log wait implicitly what I'm doing, and timeouts in seconds and seconds. So this will be clearly printed wherever I'm calling. And I'm wrapping up everything in the try catch block so that exceptions are handled properly. So every time it is the same thing. Try, do the action, and log it, and catch, print the stack trace, and if you want to throw. Okay, that's it. This is one reusable function. If you understand one time, you will understand others easily. Every other function is repeatedly created in a similar fashion. Any questions in this one? How to create reusable function? You can create one too in operations. Okay. So all I'm interested in is to call this. Okay. So if you hover over this, you will see everything here. This method will wait for blah, blah, blah. And what it takes as parameter, it takes driver and timeouts. Okay. And its return type is void, and it is taking WebDriver and integer timeout in seconds as a parameter. Now calling time also, you can see the same thing. If you hover over this, you can see immediately. So that's why it's important to specify everything explicitly, which we are doing. Okay, wait implicitly driver, and it is asking me to enter timeout in seconds. So I will enter 40 here. Now this and this line will do the same. They are doing the same basically. So just for your reference later, I'm just commenting instead of removing. Okay, so you can compare. Hey, this is what it does if I call this. Okay, so this is what we did in the linear approach, but here going forward, we are going to call this in a reusable perspective. Okay, so let's move on. This is just the second level. Third and fourth level are, as I explained before, hybrid level as page objects and what else? Data driven also. So we haven't covered. We are just covering now reusability, infra level, and utility level. That's all. Okay, web table, and okay, I don't need. I can remove all the unnecessary comments, which is a part of cleanup. Okay, so op dot get widget text we have used already, so we don't have to do anything. So this was already in place. Wherever I want to call from operations, op dot get widget text, it's already in place. Otherwise, it would be cumbersome. Now, get widget text is to capture some text from the table. Okay, which I did. Table has multiple elements, so I created a list of web elements. okay, using driver.findElements by X path variable, okay, which I'm passing here. And because this has multiple elements, it's better to run on a for loop. Okay, I showed you yesterday for loop. This was explained yesterday, but I'm re-explaining, which is good. You should ask question, but I'm asking your own question and I am explaining, so that's fine. For loop on the iterator. Okay, so how did we get this for loop? Yesterday I showed you. You try that again and you will understand. And iterator next, this is just like I plus plus. I is equal to 0, I less than something, I plus plus. That's what is normal syntax for loop, right? So similarly, for loop on the iterator web element, okay, in order to go to the next, I can say iterator.next. And what I'm doing is I'm just appending this text, clubbing all together, and finally logging, printing here. So sb.toString. So that is like string building and finally printing. Something goes wrong, do this log and widget not found is printed. Okay, finally I'm returning the whole string. So where I'm calling this here, I'm returning, since it is returning some string, I'm putting a string variable. So this will be shown in the log, and I can also use this somewhere as part of validation or somewhere. For example, I know expected result, right? So here I did not put any validation. Let's put one. So first one is UAE, I think. So table head, so not table header one. Table data one is UAE, right? So if you want to put a validation right here, so let's put a validation. We have to create validation for now because we are working on something, some external site. So we have to create our own test cases and do this. So what would be the validation? We will create this in a reusable manner now. So far, how did I validate? Using if condition, right? If something dot equals ignore case equals or equals ignore case something else, then I am printing this out pass. This is what is a basic validation. Else sys out fail, right? This is very simple approach. Okay, something is your actual value, something else is your expected value. So actual value is what you got during runtime, expected value is what you have in the requirement. So you're comparing both are equal, you say pass, both are not equal, fail. That is a validation, right? So we will do this in a reusable manner now because we are following the reusable framework approach. Okay, so validation is also important. I'll just include that. Utilities and validation. So basically it comes under utility only. Useful methods like reporting, validation, and others like date, stuff like that. Okay, so we will use it. So just to explain you guys, how did we do this in previous test case like this, right? We know the page title already, so we are just capturing the actual title and comparing. So this is like comparing. If both are equal, I can print it pass, otherwise fail. Okay, we will do this exactly in a reusable fashion. So this is a validation basic structure. Just for your understanding later, because I'm going to delete this right now. Okay, so for this validation, I created a report utilities because that is for report, right? Validation, you want to report something. So let me explain. These are all whole lot of utilities. If I keep typing this, it will take a lot of time. Trust me. Okay, I created a function for report utilities. Let's see how many functions I have. Compare report utilities, report results. Okay, so now I explain just compare because I'm just simply comparing. Okay, so in the report utils, actually I am logging to the console. Three things are done. and writing to the property file, which is for caption for a final report. And I'm also taking a screenshot. Okay, final report will be looking like in a PDF format. Okay, since I had to, we have to go through these two new things. Okay, so initially I will start with the simple one for reporting result, which is simple comparison. This one or this one. Okay, this is little complicated. Let's start with the simple one, right? Okay, so for comparison, all I need to have is two values, expected value and actual value, correct? Okay, so I passing these two as parameter. Okay, now compare is my function name. Don't worry, its return value is boolean. I'll tell you why, because I just need to know both are equal, I want true. Both are not equal, I want false. Okay, based on which I can decide later. So it's better to have boolean for two values. Okay, so I created a boolean flag, and initial value of boolean is false. So explicitly I initialize. So if I don't initialize also, it will be false. So it's like having this, but it is good idea to initialize. You can put null also. Okay, so what I am trying is, first I am getting rid of unnecessary spaces left and right. Okay, so the dot trim will do that. So this is an enhanced function, remember, not just doing simple comparison. Actual value also, I might be having some extra unnecessary spaces on the left and right. Okay, so since it's not real, it may be part of actual, so I'm just commenting, we'll go later. Now this is the actual part, real part. If expected result dot equals to actual result, then I want it to be true, boolean value true and else false. That's it. Then I am returning the flag so that I can compare it later. Okay, so let's see if we can include the sysout here itself, so that I don't have to do anything else, right? True and false is fine. So again, if I call this function, what I have to do, I have to say if compare is boolean, it is written boolean, so I'll return to boolean x. So if x is equal to true, sysout pass, if else sysout fail. Again, I have to repeatedly do that. So let's include that in the reusable function itself, right? So let's see if there is any other function. Compare a report result is another function. So this is same. So let's use the compare itself. All other are taking screenshots, so I'm not using them right now. Okay, so instead I will just print it right here. If flag is true, sysout. So I can use it in two perspectives. I can take the flag value and do something with it, or I can just call it and leave it. It will all automatically print it. So it will be GL purposed. Okay. So what I would print is pass first, so that we know it's a pass. So white is pass. Expected result equals to actual result. Expected result is expected result, correct? Plus is same as. So you have to know how to write these sysouts with concatenation operator. It's very important for logging purpose. So I am cutting down everywhere and putting plus sign in between. Variable, string, and string. Now again variable. Same as actual result, which is actual result. So you have to imagine how it would look like in the it would be printed in the console. So I already knew this because of the practice, so I am just going. So initially, if you are doing, you have to do it like couple times to get it right. Okay, so if else, expected result is not same as. That's what I want to print. Actual results. So then it will show fail here. Okay. So my purpose is achieved, right? So all I want to call is now compare. Now you tell me how do I call this here? So I want to validate something, right? So what something I want to validate the table data, which is UAE. Okay. As far as I remember, it's UAE, but we will see later. So table data 1 1. Okay. Now you tell me how do I validate that? Yes. Where it was and how it is, how should I call? Okay, one more time. It is in report utils. The function name is compare. Okay, now I want to call this function. Okay, now anybody tell me how do I call? This is the time you have to speak out. Otherwise, how do I know? And this is the right time you can practice verbally if you understand right away. Okay, how do I call this? Russell, what function I need to call? I just explained the function name and how do I call. Okay, now let me know how do I call here. Oh, are you there or disconnected? Yeah, anybody? Tech Matrix, can you tell me? Tech Matrix. Who is Tech Matrix? Okay, Saeed, you are unmuted, right? Okay, what is the answer? You can speak out instead of typing. Okay, somebody saying please go a bit slower. Okay, I will go slower. Okay, but answer the question. How do you call the reporting function? Because what is your name? Because Shukla, right? Yeah, Shukla.
Yeah, you follow the expected and actual result, and then I will declare maybe this concept implementation.
No. That is all fine. I already explained that, right? What is the function name I have to call right now for validation? I just explained, right? Back to back 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So created a reusable function in report utils called compare,
Yeah, report it.
which takes expected actual and returns me pass or fail. Simple as that. Now tell me exactly my question has an answer. You don't have to think also. Just understand the question, you will have the answer. The question has the answer already in it. Okay, now tell me. I am asking you, tell me. You tell me that. How do I call this? Report utils, right? This is easy. Reusability is same thing as you create the reusable function and call it. Now first part is over. We created it, right? And we created the reusable function called compare, which actually compares two values and prints something to the console. Correct. Now part 2, call it. Part 1 create it, part 2 call it. That's all. Okay, now part 2. How do we call it? How are we calling so far? Reusable function. God. Okay, for example, if I want to call reusable functions such as click link, I'll just call with the instance, right? op.click link, and I pass whatever I need to pass. Similarly, yes. So first you have to you have to think, you have to know whether it is static or non-static. So the function was static, so I can directly use class name, isn't it? Report details dot. Now see all the listed out function names. Compare. So there are one more compare also. So I'm gonna use this compare. Correct. Okay, so now I click on this, it will take me here. This is the one I just created, isn't it? Correct. So now let's go back and use it. Now it is asking me to enter expected result. Expected result is UAE. I'm hard coding for the timing, and actual result is, let's say, table data 11. Okay, I'll pause this. Table data 11. Okay, so now basic point is it should compare both of these. If both are equal, it will say pass or else fail. Simple. Now this is simplified with reusability concept, right? So before we were using the whole lot of lines for comparison. If so and so happens, do something else so and so, and try and catch. Okay, try and catch is not part, but this whole these 1, 2, 3, 4 lines are replaced by just single line. That is a advantage of using reusable functions. Okay, you will understand, but understand faster, because the more you think about it and ask questions, you'll learn, the faster you understand. Okay, then what I'm doing, navigating back, you don't need to, you can also create reusable function this for this one. So why don't you create for one? Okay, instead of calling like this, you create, navigate back in the operations and call here. Okay, that's your homework. And synchronization, we already created one for this one. So what is that function? Tell me. OP is for operations instance. Wait, you just type partially. So only you will know when you practice this code on your Eclipse. You import this code and do it hands-on. Then you would actually get your hands-on practice. Okay. So then driver is already passed. Timeout I'll pass 30 seconds or so. That's it. That's reusable. All I'm doing is just converting. Just remember that. Okay, actions we don't need to worry about right now. I just commented it out, but we will use this later. So text boxes. So text box. How do we enter something into text box? Using? Yes.
Find element.
Text. And XPath is this one. So XPath is still hard coded. Remember, we haven't gone for the page objects model yet. We will go. And test data is Selenium, and we haven't gone for data driven approach yet. So it is still hard coded for now, which is okay. And I am removing the first line. Okay. So similarly, we will convert this. Converting process is on. So since it's just last name, I'll call P and paste here. Okay. So the export is this, and the last name is automation. Okay, so that is also done. And sysout entered first name and last name is not required anymore, because the reusable function, I already included that sysout also, which is log OK, set text in so and so XPath with set test data. This is the totally generic code, so we can use it anywhere. Okay, don't worry about these conditions. I put more conditions. If it contains so and so character, it's considered as just to check if it is a password. So normally I used to put @ in the password just to not to print password. I put this condition, but this is not required, so I'll remove it if you feel. Password entered. Actually, this is where it ends. Log OK is sufficient. So if and else is not. So test data contains @ that means it's a password. So do not enter. Add more special characters. Okay. So I'll remove this and simply print the log. So which is set text XPath and entered data is test data. That's it. Okay, let's does not exist. Moving on. Okay, if something goes wrong, it should print if the object does not exist. Moving on, because I commented the throw. I'm not throwing the exception, so I can move on. Okay, so that's simple reusable function. Try something just like the click and clear is not required, because something, the text box already has something pre-filled, so it is better to clear it first before typing something, so which is a good idea. That's why I included this. Wait for 1 second and enter your test data and then print log. Okay, so initially also I put some 100 milliseconds, which is like 1/10 of a second sleep. So everything is taken care in the reusable function setx. All we need to call is setx now, so which is easier during runtime. You can more focus on coverage, automation of regression test cases rather than infra level. Okay, so now you tell me, how do you interact with radio buttons? Okay, one by one. First I am selecting this mail, right? Now, what is the function for it? What is the infra level function? Because this is what is going to be repeated. So once you get used to it, it becomes easier for you. Okay, how do we interact with radio button? I don't have to ask everybody, right? You can speak, somebody. Anybody can speak, so they know. Al Imran, Jackie. Can you tell me what is the function for radio button? Okay, can you unmute? Okay, if you can't unmute, how do I know that you understand? Okay, Faisal. If you don't speak out, it's no. How would I? You don't. You will understand later, but you have to understand right now. That's important. Faisal, what is the function for radio?
Like it's gonna be same, like you're gonna call the operation op dot set radio button.
No, what is the function for radio button? It's easy. I created with the same name. See, click radio button. This is what you have to tell. The namings are
like it's gonna be same, like text,
whatever you have to know.
Okay.
It's not. That's not supposed to be your answer. You should not say it's going to be same, because you're a student, right? You have to say what is it. If you say like outsider, okay, it's going to be same. I don't care. That's not the point. You have to know click radio button is a function, because I named it appropriately. So I'll ask the same question for checkbox. Okay, be ready. Okay, so click radio button is a function for, you have to know that set text, because we created it. Okay, one more time, click radio button does the same thing. Drive dot find element by XPath dot click, and all I'm passing is the XPath locator. It's just a name change. It's just like clicking a link. Okay, and then log it. Successfully done, and if not done, not successfully done. This will take care of it already. Log not okay will say automatically not okay, so that I know. If it is log okay, it will say okay. So okay, not okay are the keywords to in logs immediately to let the person know what went wrong and what went right. Okay, so I pass XPath locator. What is XPath locator here? The whole thing. Right. So now you know how do you interact with radio buttons in a reusable manner, correct? Do you know now? Okay, so now second is also radio button, right? This is to check that experience level 7, if you understand, if you remember that application. Okay, we will execute it after this is done, but first we'll convert this. See, the whole conversion process itself takes 1 hour, 1.5 hours so far. So you have to understand on the go if typing is not important. Again, okay, the system.println is also taken care. So everything is taken care in the reusable function. Okay, now Faisal, again, one more question. Keep your microphone unmuted. how do I enter something into text box? OP dot.
OP dot. Then you're gonna click text box. Let me see.
Yeah, it is already there. See, set text. I already use it here. So you have to just remember. I mean, you won't remember, I understand, because you haven't practiced. That's why you don't remember. So I am asking you to practice. That's all. So now set text. Set text. You enter, because if I want to enter something in text box, immediately I know it's a set text function. I call it without second thought, because I practice. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So here I'm using by ID. So let's see if there is any function by ID. Yeah, set text by ID. Okay. So all I can do is I can pass ID directly without having to pass the whole X path. You know. So ID locator is date picker. Simple as that. Now test data is this. Okay. Now we will do little bit modification to this. Okay. The enter date. This all thing is done. Logging is done. So I am removing. Okay, now let's print the current timestamp. Instead of old date, let's print whatever current date. So now, what is the date utility? I already showed you date utils. Has all the date utils, right? Dot. All you have to do is just class name dot. Now just check any of this is what you have to do in real-time project, because you don't know, there may be 1,000 functions defined already, right? Now all you have to do is just put dot and search. Okay, now I created a whole bunch with dates. How do you plus months and how do you minus months and everything? It's all same thing, but let's imagine in real time you have to do this. So all you have to do this. Yeah, you want to get the current timestamp. So partially type something. Okay, so let's type timestamp. Okay, so do you see anything timestamp? Yes, I do. See, I see bunch of get current timestamp, get timestamp, and all this, right? So now it is returning string. So that's what I want. And I see one is in design format also. Okay, let's pick that because I want to print it in my own format. So let's print MMDD. Okay, so that's my format. Okay, now let's go and see what it does. Okay, in real time, this is what you have to do. Trust me. Okay, so this returns a current and date time in desired format. Perfect. Now, how I am doing this same way? Local date time, local date time has function now. It is all built in. Now returns me current timestamp in raw format. I have to format it to my own desired format. Now datetime formatter will do that for me. For pattern is a function which takes MMDDYY or whatever I pass, and then it will simply print. Now, even if you do not understand this, you should be able to know when to call this and where to call this. That's all. So that you will know only if you use it one time. Okay. Okay. Now this timestamp function is also there, but it has, I hard coded the format. This takes MMDDYY format to this only, right? So which I have used in the logs, remember. So now I am using this just for our filling this date right here. So this will print current date like 12/23/2018, exactly like this it will print it. If you run it tomorrow, it will print 12/24 and so on and so forth. Okay, now one more operation, so be ready. I'll ask one more guy. I want to interact with checkboxes. So Farhana Alim, what is the function for checkboxes? Can you unmute and speak? Okay, so she can't unmute. So let's, okay. Yeah, what is the function? Tell me. OP dot checkbox.
Checkbox.
What do you want to do with checkbox? You want to click on checkbox, right? So there must be some function for it. You just have to guess, educated guess, make an educated guess. Now let's see, click. What is the function now? You see that it's right there. Do you see what is selected? Just read it out. It is already selected.
Yeah, WebDriver string express. Okay.
No. What is the function name? Those are the parameter names. Read the selected line. You will know what is selected on top. That
Yeah, click.
Click what?
A checkbox WebDriver.
Correct. Yeah, that's it. That's the function name. So I'm selecting this, and it takes two parameters. One is driver and one is XPath
One is
locator. So what is the XPath here? What should I enter in the XPath? This XPath, right? I want to check manual test checkbox. Right.
Yeah.
This is, we already seen this application, so we have to know. Okay. So this line will do the same. So which is better, this one or this one? This one. Why? Because this is reusable. I don't have to know all this. You have to know driver. What you have to do is driver.find element by XPath and pass the XPath and dot click. That is the method. But I have created a reusable function for this one, which is called click checkbox. So it exactly matches what is the type of operation, what is the type of object you are operating upon. Click checkbox. Simple as that. Naming is so simple. So I will remove this. Now same thing for the automation tester also. This is also checkbox. So I'll copy paste here. Okay. So all I need to change is XPath. So done. This is also done from inside. Why? Because the checkbox reusable function is like this. Driver.find element by XPath. Click. Okay. And then sys out. Okay. Instead of log, I'm using system.println, which is fine. Click checkbox and XPath locator on this. This will print it to the console. So this method will click on checkbox with the given XPath locator. Simple as that. Same thing, whatever we have done outside, we are doing it inside. Okay. Now coming back to this. Now I'll ask one more person to be ready. Okay. This upload browse file robot, we are trying to upload the file, right? So before that, I have to click on that some button. Okay. What do I call here to click on this? What should be the reusable method name for this one? Anyone? Now Mim will tell us. Mim, how do I click on the button? Reusable. Can you unmute? Okay, so let's ask Mohammad Hossein. Okay, what is the reusable function for clicking on a button? Mohammad Hossein. op.click button, Al Imran says. That is correct. op. Let's say click link or button is the same thing. So let's go for click link. Click button I didn't create separately. Click link is fine. Because click link or click button, it will be one and the same. Okay, let's see that inside. What is the definition? So for now, I'll remove this, right? And remove this. Okay, so let's go to click link. So this method will click on link or button or link. So it is dual purpose. So no issue. I can call it click link or button, but it will be too long a name. So all I'm doing inside is driver.find element by XPath locator dot click. That's it. Simple as that. Okay, so let's come back to our. Okay, so now next thing is all that robotic thing, right? Entering the file path. Okay, so this is all is to enter file path. Browse file with the file path. So I created a file path for it and calling already reusable function utilities, keyboard utils, and entering is taken care from the robot. I also have keyboard utils for the same, but I just wanted to show you how do we use the robot inside? So this is equivalent to this actually. Keyboard utils dot key underscore. Okay, it's actually non-static function. I have to use new keyword. Key underscore enter. So this is exactly same. All these 4 lines are equivalent to this line. Okay, but I just wanted to show you how do we call the robot class and use the functions inside it, key press and key release. So I'll comment this. I won't remove this because you can understand later also how do we use a robot. Okay, so that will print, upload the file, and download the file is same thing, clicking a link. So what is the reusable operation for it? op dot click link. It's basically click link. You have to understand what is basic inside it. So even if you download, it's just a link. So it takes a path. So I can remove this. I can remove this. Everything is taken care inside. Okay. Now another operation for another object, checkbox. Now, what is the function for checkbox? Now, who will tell me? Naeem. What is the function for checkbox? Can you unmute and tell me?
It's a op dot click checkbox.
Right. Got it right. Okay. So that means you are following it correctly. You are practicing probably. So you know. Okay, perfect. So then drop down. Okay, let's ask someone else. Okay, Naeem, you are good. Let's okay, there are 2 names. So are they both are same or different?
Both are same. Yes, both are same.
Okay. Russell also 2. Okay, 2 Russells. Russell Islam is a lab instructor, I guess, right? So let's ask Saeed. Saeed, what is the operation? What is a function for check drop down? Say that again. op dot
checkbox.
No. We are going for drop down. Checkbox.
Oh, drop down. I mean, yeah, op dot drop down then.
Not drop down. Select drop down.
Select
drop down is the function. Okay. Yeah. So there are 2 functions. I'll choose one of them. One takes integer, one takes string. So which is the appropriate function? These are the overloaded methods. So I want to pass exact value, right? String is the value. So I'll take this, and all I have to pass is the driver and XPath locator. So what is the XPath locator? Whatever we created here, whatever identifies the XPath for the whole drop down, and what I want to select from drop down value. Okay, what I want to select, North America. So I can enter here. Okay, now see the magic. This single line replaces 1, 2, 3, 4 whole bunch of lines. Okay, now I'll remove this and go inside and explain it here. So that's the need to know basis. That way you will understand better, trust me. Okay, now let's go inside, select drop down. You understand, you remember that select drop down is a function name to select any value from the drop down. From now onwards we are going to use this way. Okay, this is good for interview purpose and understanding purpose. Okay, but not for the coding purpose. It will be very cumbersome. So trust me, this is the better way. So you understand this one time and leave it. That's all. Because you should be able to explain the interview also. This one, not this one. But for usability, project, real-time project purposes, this is better. So you have to remember this one also. So let's see what's inside. So inside is, all I'm doing is creating, okay, I remove all this whole bunch of unnecessary lines because I created them and wanted to debug everything. I just kept I didn't clean up. So let's do that. Okay, select is a class, create an instance of select is equal to new select, and this takes the whole XPath for this driver.findElement by XPath. The select takes whole thing, correct, web element. So what we did was initially we created it separately. I created the web element separately. Now I will show you how do I do that. Now I'll remove this. Okay, let's create a web element first so that you will exactly know what's going on. So web element web element for the export locator, right? Now this is what it takes. Now instead of the whole thing, I can pass LE, which is the same thing. Okay. Now wait for 1 second. Then using this select, I can apply the select by visible text, and I'm passing the value to select as a parameter. See, now the reason I created other options because just wanted to let you know what are the other options possible. I can also select by value, right? Select by value. Okay, so this is actually value. Okay, and select by index. Index actually takes number, so this is not the appropriate method because I created another method for this one, which takes index like 1 2 3 4. What is the number of element, which is very difficult to find out. So the best bet is select by visible text. So select by value, you can use it if you want to, and then log. Then if something goes wrong, catch. This is the reuse function. Very simple. Now once I create it, that's it. I can reuse it many times. Create once and use many times. Okay. Now similarly, combo box. Let's see if I created combo box or not. Actually, the drop down and combo box will be the same. I didn't create for combo box. So let's see. Select no combo box. So, okay. So basically, I'll use the same thing. So I'll create use it for multi-purpose. This method will select drop down and drop down or combo box. The given export locator. The only difference between combo box and drop down is you should be able to select multiple values, right? So that's exactly what I'm doing. So that way I'm thinking, should we create new one? Because in here I can select multiple browser commands, navigation commands, web elements. Multiple selection is possible. So we have to put it in a for loop and select. So let's see if we can create new one, because that is the main difference between drop down and combo box, right? So all I can do is, now you check, now I can type the whole thing. I can copy paste, but just for your understanding, I'll type from the beginning. Okay. Okay, so I'll stop once this is over because you might be going for lab, right? Okay, for the time being, you do this for as a homework, select drop down. Okay, so for now, I'll just put or combo box. So for combo box, you just have to repeat, that's all. Okay, so let's multi-purpose it. So combo box, what I'll do is I'll repeat the same thing, but I'll repeat it 3 times. That's easiest. Yeah. Okay, give me a second, I'll finish it 3 times, right? So the export will remain the same, but the value will differ every time. So that's the combo. Combo box is nothing but repeatable selection of drop down. So that will replace all these lines. And this line also is taken care right inside. Now button, already know, op dot click link, right? Now this is a reusable export. In this way, click on that button, whatever. Okay. Now synchronization also I created. Okay. So let's see if we can apply that quickly, and we are almost done. Wait. op dot wait explicitly. Okay. Wait implicitly is already there. Okay. Wait explicitly is a function for this one, and max timeout in seconds, whatever it is, 50 seconds. Export of the web element. So it's not as easy as easy as it seems, but we will use this and try to execute whole web element export of that web element. Okay, so that will that is supposed to replace these 3 lines, but I'll keep this intact. Now capturing text. Capturing text, what it is? String captured text. The function name is op.getText. Right. So getText takes whole X path of this text object and returns me the text. Right. So these two are same. Wait statically and driver close. We can put it in a function also later, but for the time being, I'll leave it be. Okay, now everything is error free. Now we can run this. Okay. Okay, so you can continue this. We can continue this on the next class. You can go with the lab. Yeah, you can continue with the lab. So I'm just running this to see. Okay, you can see the logs over here. Okay, so there was some exception. Let's see. Line number 50. Okay. Partial link text. It should have income launch. Okay, so what was the mistake was exactly, no? So we have to put this time maximize after timeouts, right? So first it will get the URL and wait for certain time, then maximize. So that was a mistake. Let's rerun this. No, still same thing, null pointer. Okay, let's run the original. Probably it is done. Okay, so the execution is fine. So we'll see this tomorrow. The site was down or something. Establishing database connection. Okay, guys. So we'll see the rest tomorrow.
রাসেল ভাই
Hello.
হ্যালো
Hi guys.
রাসেল ভাই আসসালামু আলাইকুম ভালো আছেন
Yeah, we are fine. Yeah.
ভাই আমরা জায়গা
I'm waiting for actually just wait couple of minutes because I need to get a
ভাই
presentation.
আমার ঘুমা ধরছে আমার ঘুমা ধরছে
ঘুমে ধরছে রাত্রে কি ঘুমাও নাই?
না ভাইয়া কালকে মাত্র 3 ঘন্টা ঘুমাইছি
আরে এরকম কত ক্লাস আমরা রবিবার দিয়ে করতে আসছি 1 ঘন্টা খালি ন্যাপ নিছি গাড়ির মধ্যে আর তুমি তো 3 ঘন্টা।
বিশ্বজিৎ ভাই বলছে আজকে নাকি আপনি আসবেন না দিয়ে ক্লাস হবে না
না কে বলছে? না আমার ওই যে গেস্ট আসছে তো বাসায় তো এর জন্য আসতে পারি নাই গেস্ট রেখে আমি যদি বাইরে থাকি তাহলে
কি রান্না হইছে
হ্যাঁ
দুপুরে রান্নাটা কি হইছে
আমরা ক্লাসে আছি
এখন শুনো এগুলা যদি শুনো তাহলে ক্ষুধায় আরো পেট জ্বলতে থাকবো না শোনাটাই ভালো।
ভাই আপনি তো কষ্ট করে আসেন না আমরা কষ্ট করে আপনার বাসায় যাইতাছি
আয়া
ভাই
বড়
আপনি তো বাসা বসে কথা কইতেছেন আর ঢোক গেলতেছেন তাহলে আমাদের কি হবে
চা খাইতাছি ঢুকতেছি না চা খাইতাছি
একদিন চা খাওয়ার জন্য তো দিতে হয়
yeah.
Hello guys.
So just wait one second. Why is Asad bhai?
Hello.
Asad bhai is there?
Yes, I am.
Did you see guys Asad bhai?
Yeah. So guys, please let's keep this professional. This session is being recorded, okay? So you are being recorded as well and what you are saying. And it will be uploaded on Drive. So
Oh Asad
and
bhai, sorry.
people,
Yeah,
people
I
will
know.
have access there, you know, Sangam, Jahid Bhai and other people. They will they might be watching it. So let's keep it personal. If you have something to talk about, just keep your microphones off. Just to give you a heads up.
Okay Asad bhai. Sorry for that. Anyhow, can you make me a presenter?
I'm gonna make you the presenter now.
Okay. So, do you guys see my screen? And before we start, I want to announce like last week also I told like we need to take a next week I think on not next Sunday maybe on January 1st first week on Sunday it will be maybe 6 or 7 or something. So we need to get database exam to find out what is the position you have in the database. So we already finished database classes and then I did also review class and I asked the questions like do you have any problem or not. Hopefully you need to practice more and more because for the exam we need to find out like what is the position and then basic queries or basic understanding you have or not. So I have a one plan to I will give you after class like database some basic 50 questions. Out of that, if you are reading all of those questions, and a lot of interview questions are asking from those among 50 questions as well. So theoretically or conceptually, you need to go through and then remember those. Plus, you need to practice. Based on that, we'll give you some exercise on exam day, and then on live we'll do the test and then find out what is your position. So you have enough time for at least 2 weeks, and then definitely I am assuming like you will have good practice on it. And without practice, you don't think you will pass, because it's going to be conceptual as well. So that's why I want to give you a heads up. But in the meantime, last week I went through for all technical, not technical, is like minimum required Excel tips or trick, we can say. Um, so today I have a one plan to write down how to create a report as well. Report means sometimes you need to make a good report for your management, like for your manager, and manager can share with his manager, and then his manager can share with the high level. So suppose like what they want, like how many test cases covered, how many test cases, what is our quality and compose, those stuff. So you never heard that, or you make familiar. But before that, Nine sent me one test cases. So I told you last time, just go through, write down the test cases. Just start with writing test cases. Otherwise, your uh, mind will not start working. So I will share 9 test cases with. So he wrote some test format, but um, we want to discuss, because then all we know is what is the better way, or better approach it will be. So that's why I want to share with you all, you guys. But best thing is I'm appreciate to Naim that he put some effort and then send me for reviewing his test cases. But ultimately we need to go through like what I taught you, and then based on that you need to practice. So let's get started. Like he started here. Let me check or maybe find out from. So last time we started with Pizza Hut, right? So he wrote down the Pizza Hut test cases as well. But my question was, he wrote down the test cases based on Microsoft Word document. So my question is, did I give you any test format or template on Microsoft Word? No. So I am assuming like you guys follow what I gave you, or what I showed you the template. So based on that template, if you are missing those, definitely I will recommend it to go through again and then write down the format, or so this is the way you can write down. A lot of test cases, they may write down on the Microsoft Word format. But the thing is, if you have a multiple test cases, so what you do, you are making those all Word format, and then how you find out, how you sorting. There is no sort facilities on Microsoft Word. And then those formats, suppose like you wrote down, first one is test case ID, it is fine. I'm saying to Naim, he's Naim is here, right? Hello, Naim.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
So when you write down, here is the test case name or test case ID. Test case name and test case ID is defined field. Name is the name of the what you are testing. ID is defined. It is not or. Always remember, there is a two separate field, because ID would be definitely unique. Name would be whatever you are testing. Suppose like you are testing for create account functionality. So you write down some test case name, Pizza Hut account creation functionality verification, or taking Pizza Hut account creation functionality. That is the name when anybody you share with, and then they already knows what is the test case for. This test case is what it does. So name will represent to you what you are testing. Suppose it is a overall, so end-to-end flow. But if you are verified for the email address or wrong or valid, then your test case name will be on Pizza Hut create account page, email address verification, taking email address functionality. So when I told you this line, and then immediately everybody, they already acknowledge that what is the test for. So name would be unique, but it is expressive. It is important what you are testing. When you write down one sentence, that sentence will represent what you are testing. That is your name. So always remember, it is not or, it is totally different things. And
if you can show us one more time to find out right based on this compared to this file.
Yeah, last class, like very beginning, we walked through those test cases. Template, did I showed you this? Defect list is there. Let me check. Yeah, I do have. You see test case and templates. On very first class I did. Let's open it. To test case one. This is, I believe, we shared with you guys this format. You can see this one is test case or test case ID or test case name. You can write down, and then this is the test case name, right? Scenario, you already know scenarios and name is the relation, right? Yes, like scenarios is the your module or your functionality. So one scenario, it could be sometimes it is controversy. Sometimes people getting confused, like, oh, okay, what should I write? Is I should write down the scenarios as a test case name, or test case name is going to be defined, or sometimes a lot of company they are writing only the scenarios name, not the test case. But real as a QA professional, the scenario will be your functionality and test case will be your what you are testing. So suppose one functionality could be multiple test cases. So its relation is 1:1, or it could be 1:many. So one scenario could have multiple test cases, or one scenario could have multiple test cases. Suppose like sign out, log off functionality. That is one test case. So log off functionality. But login functionality, it could be 8 test cases, right? The last time we saw there is a mapping like 0 and 1, 0 and 1 we did. So it could be at least 4, right? If you have multiple choice, suppose like a PIN number or something else, then it's going to be more and more. So a lot of combination is going to be. So that is the minimum, like test steps is there, test data should be there, expected result, actual result, status and remarks. And then sometimes it's optional like description, precondition, or prepared by, or written by, or executed by. It is depends on, but basic format you need to start with. And then based on that, if your company said, oh, okay, we need to go through, you need to add more columns, or maybe environment, maybe browser related, or application version name, a lot of things you might add, but basic minimum you need to add those. So those way we can write down the template as well. This is the template. Last time also I shared with you guys. So those you need to remember minimum that we expect. Why? Because sometimes we have facilities to make it as a filter. When you click filter, and then you can access lot of way. Suppose when you click here, you have multiple test cases. You can check it. Oh, okay, which one is unchecked? It will only show you 2 test cases, second test cases here. And then there is a lot of other way. I will show you later as well how to add those, like making you want to check it only failed test cases you want to run. So and then based on the status you can filtering here only failed one, then you need to rerun the only failed one. That way you can filter your test cases. Suppose like you are 5 people on your team, and then you have 100 test cases, so each you are running for 20 test cases. They assign to you, maybe your PM or your lead will assign to you, and then you want to find out how. And then assigned by you will have and then based on your just take or select your name, and then press OK, and then it will show you. You are not removing, you just filtering. So those are handy. That's why a lot of companies is still they're using a lot of like ALM is there, Rally is there, even though Excel is key over there. They like Excel. It's still they're like, because it is in like a lot of things in the central point. You can easily find out how many tests fail, how can you can sort, and then you can make a graph. So it is easy. Anyhow, you already knows those, but why we are repeating this? Because seems like we need to go through. I believe like we have that class, but seems like you are not properly followed. So that's why let's go get started, like what it will be. So I will believe like I will recommend it to Naim. It is fine. So a lot of companies they could use Microsoft Word, but our ultimate goal, what we taught you, what I talk about like details. So follow our things, and then you can, if they are using Microsoft Word format, then you can convert it easily. But if wrongly you are using those, and then even eventually here, if I told you, okay, find out how many test cases got failed, you need to count manually. Is that possible if you have couple of hundred test cases in one Microsoft Word document file? It is not possible. Even though it is going to be with functionality, we don't have it. So that need to be you need to find out like, okay, if you download the format somewhere, it is fine, but we recommended you follow my template, or based on that format you can add or remove optional lot of columns. So let's get this started. Another one is the purpose you are writing, the maybe the name, right? The purpose this test cases is verify that the user are able to register in the Pizza Hut website. So your test case name is going to be like that. Okay, verify the user able to register Pizza Hut website. That's going to be your name. So that is your purpose. So in the description you can write down, but this is going to be, is better too if you write down as a name. And then acceptance criteria, you don't need to write down the acceptance criteria. It is not it is going to be traceability metrics, or maybe your business requirement document will give you what is the acceptance criteria. So user successfully need to register at Pizza Hut account. On the test cases, we don't need to write down the acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria is our expected result. That is our expected result is acceptance criteria. As a consideration, we can think, we can not write down separate columns, because it's based on the business requirement document or functional requirement document. And then based on functional requirement document, what is the expected result we should know, and then we will write down. And then based on that, when we write down, actual result is going to be empty beginning before run, and then after run, when you execute, you can put the execution date or time, and then after that what you are getting, it is working as expected, or it is working something else, or some error you got, you just put it over there, and then based on that pass or fail you will write down. So that is going to be, you don't need to this line. And then precondition or setup, I'm not sure what is the setup you're talking about, environment setup or environment. Setup is general word, so we don't need to blindly put it. It's better to use not setup word, or just precondition is better way to write down. And then precondition is internet and PC access need to be available, username, and I believe that is like childish. You don't need to write down the internet and PC access. Definitely you are working some company, and then definitely you will have internet and you will have your PC, and that is that everybody knows. You are not going somewhere and then on the field level you go, you are traveling, and then you start testing. It is not like that. That is maybe for hardware application, or monitoring manufacturing company. Yeah, they have a test cases too. So on that companies, when you go, okay, that manufacturing the hardware things, it is come in the picture. But here it is unnecessary. It is you don't need to mention it. That unnecessary word. But you can mention here precondition, like you are creating. Suppose tell me about like you are creating an account. Username and password need to be accessible. How you get username and password without creating? That is your precondition. No, definitely no, because you are creating, you don't have it. What is your precondition? Precondition is the create account page should be displayed. That could be your precondition. Precondition is not like username and password need to be accessible. That accessible means already is being created. You are creating here. You understand or not, Naim? Or anybody else? I'm saying not only Naim. So I'm saying, so why you are go through over that, don't get personally, because we are all here in the same point to learning or write down the better way that test cases. I'm not encountering or personally attacking anyone. So eventually I'm appreciate Naim, but you are behind Naim who did not already send anything, right? So here I wanted to clear what is the precondition will be. You are creating some account on Pizza Hut. You don't have any account. So why precondition will be you have access? If you have access, is that required? You need to be registered first to create another account? No. If you have a admin access, suppose admin access, maybe admin privilege you need for admin functionality testing. So that time you could make it as a precondition. But precondition will be your page should be open. If your page is not open, join link is not working on Pizza Hut. So everybody knows Pizza Hut, right? So so Pizza Hut, when he click and then we click here, so we need to go through, and then here on the page we have a joint link. So you can write down on the Pizza Hut page, joint link should be active. That is another precondition. Joint link will be active and create account page exactly, or registration link, right? Registration page, whatever. So create account page. This is create account page. So you can write down precondition is from a Pizza Hut join link and create account page should be populated or should be displayed. That could be your precondition. Not like username and password, because you don't have username and password. I don't need to. Do I need to go through here username and password? I will get the username and password because I am creating, and then during that creation it will post condition, not the precondition. It could be a post condition, like, okay, after creation this is a precondition here. So post condition you may write down on your test cases or on your Excel sheet, okay, that username or email address and password should be activated. So when you join again, or definitely how you verify, definitely when you have created, if you filled out everything is required field and then hit create account, and then account will be created, and then how you verify? Go to sign in. Definitely you are not going to join in again, right? So when you click sign in, and then your email and then your password, you can verify, you can click and then sign. When you sign in, then you will be see the home page or login successful page will be displayed, or maybe your account, your username or your name will be displayed on the left side or right side. I did not go through, I don't have the page yet, but at least you have, based on that context, like you can write down your post condition. That will be your post condition. And precondition, what you need, how you can need to access those page. Based on that, which one, like it is precondition is not like, oh, browser should be installed or software should be installed, not like that. Pizza Hut page should be displayed, and join account or joint link will be active. That could be a precondition, because sometimes Pizza Hut is down, then definitely suppose your region is down and then you don't have access, then you cannot test. But we are assuming definitely we are testing, we have those. So that time we can write down those way which one need to precondition. And then I like not this format, word format, and then this is your test cases, and then you wrote down the test cases. Seems like your test case is end-to-end flow. I recommended to you first time, I told you just go through not end-to-end flow right now, go through feature level, and then when you have feature level test cases, and then you can easily write down end-to-end test cases, because you can combine together. If you are going to do through first time end-to-end flow, then you cannot isolate. Suppose your email address verification is not working, functionality is not working, or maybe zip code is taking alphanumerical, it should be only numerical. How you isolate if you write down first test cases is end-to-end flow? But this is fine. I'm saying, I'm thinking like, okay, you have those test cases, you wrote down This is 001. So what you wrote, this steps is RAG 001 1.0. Do we tell you guys write down the steps this format 1 through 1:1 and 1 through 1:1 1:2 1:3? You don't need to. You don't need to write down to steps like that. It's better to write down step 1 or here is whatever you write down here. Open Chrome browser or enter the URL here. Enter the URL and then that is going to be your test data. That is going to be test data. So what data you are putting, and then the step is going to be okay. Enter URL. This is your step 1. 1, 2, 3, simple. Make it simple. Why you are going to make it complex like reg G01 and 1:1, 1:2, 1:3? That's look like, oh, what is the reg? Registration somewhere? No, we're not doing those. So easily just make it as simple. Steps you can write down, not steps. Headings is going to be steps, and then you can write down step 1 and then what you are doing. And then test data is going to be different. You don't have test data. Which test data you use? You are testing one things, and then somebody else you are writing somebody testing something else. Because test data is very, very important, because most failing test cases is coming like not sort of the steps. If is missing, then definitely it is issue. But lot of failure, lot of bugs, it will display with your test data. So that is our main goal. So suppose like invalid. So invalid is your invalid could be lot of way. It could be more than couple of hundred or thousand way you can make invalid data. So all is possible, no. But as a general knowledge, how interact, like how user could be make the mistake. So that is our ultimate goal. So last time we told you, right, when you go through the pages, and then definitely email address we can write down. So email address, the format they already showed here, you@example.com. Yeah, so if you write down something like that, you @example, right? Example or anything could be. And then suppose you put something is special character and then .com, then immediately you will get error message like this is invalid. Invalid could be multiple ways or multiple, definitely 100 times you could make it, but all is possible, no. But basic how user could make the invalid. So suppose you forgot to make a dot, especially when you enter the dot, maybe your shift key is entered and then you put it this getter sign instead of, because both are same keys, right? And then it could be like that. Come here and then it is showing error. So that is your test data, which is test data it is not accepting, or maybe you forgot, or you may press twice. So it could be possible because when your queue is not good and then you press one time, then accidentally it came 2 times because the user doesn't know, intentionally he did not do that, and then when he come it is taking, definitely it should not, and then now you are verifying. So those is how many combination you can make a invalid. So maybe at least your test case will be like verify create account or verify email address with invalid email address. And then test data could be your test set or test data set will be maybe 10 or 15. Use the different special character, not only @ may put pound sign, put percent sign, or lot common mistakes, those things. So that way you can make it. You need to test. Otherwise, do you think you are testing one thing and then all is going to be covered? No, we need to test with multiple test data. Definitely, for the test data, we cannot write down the multiple test cases. So invalid is going to be one test case, but invalid data will be multiple. When you test, definitely your data is going to be key, and then you can track which one is failed. Because you cannot say, suppose like maybe some special character is not allowed, and then it is allowing. Because everything is database specific, everything going to inside the database. Maybe database cannot handle those. So those you need to verify. You need to check it. So anyhow, I would say just go through steps, and then steps will be okay. Enter URL, enter click This is your steps. Click join in Pizza Hut homepage. That is going to be step. Suppose like first step is enter Pizza Hut, and then second step is click step 2, click on Pizza Hut, and then third step is your enter email address. So here I did not show, anybody doesn't know, did I showed you here like as there is a checkbox should be there? No, we don't show you here like, okay, we don't need to make it checkbox. So write down as expected what is going to be, so it is displaying or not. If it is displayed is properly as expected, just that is fine. So you don't know need to. And then pass and fail, you have a pass and fail. What happens is a lot of other status I told you last time when we have those classes, and then definitely you need to follow those. And then how to write down the step by step I showed you, and then there is a document is there. I gave you these templates. Nobody is following. This is the templates look like I already shared with you guys. And then I wrote down how you write down the test cases ID, and then test cases name. We already have those. Description is there, precondition is there, execution step, expected result, actual result, and then status. Did you see pass, fail, not tested, not applicable? Suppose like your functionality is duplicated. Some test cases is there, and then now functionality got changed. Maybe some functionality got modified, and then that one is not testable. So we put it there, and then cannot be tested. So a lot of status is there and blocked. Suppose your database server is down, and then on the front end everything is working fine, but when you click create account, it is showing, but on the back end when you run the queries, you do not see any registered account because database connection is lost. And then that time you cannot be test those things. Then that time you can make as a blocked, or maybe some network issues, or maybe some environment issues, lot of things. That time you need to put for the report. Suppose your manager said you need to give me this 20 test cases running report before you leave. Morning time they email you, and then by 4 o'clock you ran all 20s, and then some is blocked, some is passed, some is failed, some is not testable. So a lot of issues it could be, it's going to be complex, like. And then why you cannot make it empty? If you just make it empty, and your manager will come, oh, I told you run the all 20, but you gave me a report for 10 or 15, and what else what else the 5 test cases? You said, oh, environment was down. He need to ask you, because if you make it block and then put the notes, oh, database server was down, and then when he sees the report, and then he will knows already, oh, that this case you try to execute, but there was you could not finish it because there is a problem. So that's why a lot of state is there. Suppose on if we write down here, and then how you can find out the other state? You cannot. And then why it is fail? Why you write down why it is fail? Not working as expected is fine, but what is the actual things? So that's why we recommended to you those things. And then another thing is, in this case, your email address, and then tell me name by. So here is, you have a lot of fields, you make it 2 group. There is anything we did I told you, like make a valid email and password or confirmation, these 3 field one group, and then zip code, phone number and email, last name and first name, or and another group. What else? Suppose like if it is failed for email address, and then it is failing, that's the same steps, your password issue, and then it is failed. Then how you isolate? Is email address problem, or password field problem, or confirmation number field is problem? There's a 3 field you put together, and then for 3 field, these 3 field will fail each and every one for the same steps. It's not correct. Then they will confuse, like, okay, developer will knows, oh, okay, this already I fixed it for invalid password, sorry, invalid email address, now it is fixed, so again it is failing. Then you will say, no, that one is different, that is for password now. Not like that, because your ID is represent you, each and every one is separate test cases, and then it will fail each and every steps for same test cases. No, steps going to be every time steps. How you remember which one is going to be steps? my personal opinion is, if somebody else is showing, you can write down the for shortcut for steps, reduce the steps. But my personal opinion is, if you move your keyboard and mouse each and every time, write down separately. That is recommended. Then you can isolate, separate steps. Each and everything is not, don't assume. Suppose on this page, when you click here, one step, here is another step, here is another step, because this is totally, don't you think it is come together, it is like a box, and then everything is going to be same, because the same data you are not using, separate data you are using.
Email is added.
Yeah, so suppose like email, first name you are putting 1 2 3 4 5, and then you are writing here, they're taking, because there is no validation for that, they're taking here. Maybe in your company when you are working, and then it should give you the error message, because nobody's name should be like that. And then maybe boundary values is going to be like that, like you don't know how many, so it's got stopped. So maybe it's 30 or 40 or 60, you cannot write down more than that. Maybe 50 is here, so more than 50 you cannot write down. So that boundary value, how you find out? Based on the test data, right? So boundary verify first name boundary values. What is the maximum, what is the minimum? And then we already, a lot of people, we already knows there is a HTML like who are doing on automation, lot of tag is there. So is tag, maybe something you are writing something as a tag, and if it is taking, and then definitely is a problem. So a lot of hacker, they try to execute lot of code, lot of programming language, they wanted to hack it, they wanted to enter those special keys. So you need to handle those. Oh, that is taking or not. So is there any error message or not? Is this allowing or not? So those way you can write down. And then suppose like your first name, you are write down something like that @gmail.com, your first name. So it is allowing. So because special characters they allow. So a lot of companies, maybe they will prevent you on the front end. They will not allow to write down something like that. So you need to think about how many way people could make a mistake, and then how you can prevent, and how your application could handle those the way. Ultimate goal is you need to find out your application is working as expected. So don't assume like, oh, okay, we saw it there. That's why critical thinker you need to be as an inspection, like, okay, oh, that we were inspecting or working as like, don't think positive wise. Positive, all are positive. It's like, oh, okay, you are entering the all correct data, but you need to lot of way, you need to find out with your test data is key here. You need to think about how critical think you are. That's why it is recommended for every job. They also write down, okay, you are verbally communication is good, or you're technically good. A lot of people I know, they could not properly communicate, but their technical is very good. They keep the job, they got the hire full time, they don't care because he's technically good. But if you are technically not good, if you are writing good or communication good, nobody keep you long time. So your skill need to be increased, and then you need to be start practicing. And then if you guys thinking like, oh, okay, I never wrote down the test cases, and then you got the job, and then first day you write down the test cases, and then when they see the test cases, they will find out you are new because you never wrote. So that way, don't think like that way. Without practice, you get the first job, and then it's not possible. So that's why I knows why we are emphasize those issues, because our practical experience is like that. Lot of center, they will teach you. You see the videos, and then you finish the videos, and then you never wrote down the test cases. And when you write down 3 test cases, 2 test cases is going to be rejected. A lot of people I know like that way, because they is got rejected. Because why is rejected? Because the test case is not good. Test case is not written properly the way it is. So that way you need to practice it. Then when you write down the you start practice, and then you have confidence. So those things just you need to modify. So this is going to be not description, is going to be use steps. That is going to be step 1, step 2, step 3, like that. And the expected result is fine. You write down proper way is fine, no problem. But steps need to modify those. And then another one, when I reviewed, and then you write down this, that steps is going to be, you need to elaborate more. It's not going to be under one step, is going to be 3 things you are entering, and one step you are seeing multiple 4 things. Suppose your zip code is taking 4 digits. Is that is that failing for first name, last name? This step is going to be fail for your zip code. So how you isolate? And then suppose your boundary values is 50 on your business requirement document said, but it is taking 100. Then this steps is going to be fail for same reason, for your first name boundary values and then zip code boundaries values. No. And then phone number, same thing. So you need to write down the test case, test step. One, why their ultimate goal is why I'm writing the steps, because isolating the problem. So where is problem? Is step 7. Step 7 is what? Zip code. Step 6 is what? Is phone number. Step 5 is what? Last name. Step 4 is what? First name. Like that. Then steps, which steps is failed, you can isolate this steps is failed. One step, if you have a multiple, and then how you isolate? You cannot be isolated. So, and then check box under confirm that and click. Okay, you click check box is here. So this is the optional, right? So you can write down the optional fee, or sorry, in the confirm that that is the checkbox. It is for terms and condition. So you can write down the click terms and condition checkbox. This is your steps, and then you click here, and then this is another steps for captcha, right? Captcha is there is another robotic for another checkbox. So this is separate. So suppose you click here and then you create account button without captcha. Is required or not? It is not saying. It's definitely it would be required. And then those are saying all this is optional. So optional means you may check, you may click here like, okay, this is the checkbox, this is the drop down, and then how many drop down the list is there. You need to write down the test cases for especially for this field, and then how many list is there. You need to verify, is there 20 or and everything is alphabetical order, and another one is not alphabetical, it's something like a alphabetical order. Suppose your functionality saying your name will be alphabetical, but somehow it is not alphabetical, then there is a problem. So how you then your whole test case is going to be failed? Definitely not. So then verify, you need to write down the test cases. Okay, verify, sign up for game plan drop down list, and then that way you can verify those, even though it is optional. So definitely you need to verify those. And then there is the date format. So suppose the date format you write down for 04 and then 2018, it is saying like, but you are not follow those, and then you click here, you got the error message because it is saying why. Then how you verify? This is already, you see front end, it is showing re-enter the date. They already showed because this is wrong format. I put it YY, MMDDYY. So even though here is slash, if you write down the dash, if that work, and then even though if I put it that's the right format, then when I click, it is also throwing the error message because they're saying slash, even though I'm putting dash. So those way you need to find out, you need to check it, everything is working as expected, or maybe you put it dot. A lot of people can do like that. And then definitely when you click here, no, still it is not taking. But if I change it this, and then that is as expected, now it is gone because it's correct format. So those way you can verify those fields. How you invalid data, invalid free birthday treat, or let's celebrate you field, right? Those date field you need to verify. You can write down the test cases for that, for particular field. This is going to be very field level. That's why I told you to write down the test cases feature level first, and then go through end-to-end flow. Okay, and then after that you click over there, and then on create account you put it there, and then you write down click on create account. So you check box, one thing you do, can you tell me checkbox and click, there is a two different functionality, right? Definitely. And then the checkbox, whatever you wrote, it is not clickable. You clicking, but it is not taking anything. How you know it is responsive or not responsive, or selectable or not selectable? Maybe it is disabled for some reason. And then how you find out this button is fine, but you are wrote down the two together, is not going to be like that. It's going to be separate. And then Suppose you create account submit button or account button is going to be disabled. It could be vice versa. So that way we need to isolate those those things. How you can write down those steps, and then after that the same things that is wrong. Totally, those steps are totally wrong. We don't need it, because here you are saying like, okay, repeat step 1 through 1.2. That's mean from 1.1.2, these three steps you are saying repeating. Okay, so after creating, I am going to open a Chrome browser and go to again home page, and then Pizza Hut, and then click join account, join Pizza Hut, and then when I click join, and then after create, if you go through join, and then how you what is the goal, what is this steps it will does. So suppose I'm going again join page, and the create account page will be showed, and then you entering again what you are testing here time by. I already submit create account, and then why I am repeating from two steps 2 through here. What is our goal, what we are achieving here? Hello, Naim, can you explain this, why you are writing those steps? If your target is okay, create account is successfully created or not, for post condition, suppose you got the confirmation number and then you want to check it, really it got created or not, that time these steps 1 through repeat, and then you are writing again same thing, password field, email address, yeah, and then here did you see here, you put everything is together again, and then shall not be go through the section. So it is like one test case, you are doing lot of things, and then there is the conclusion is here. I did not tell you this is for reporting purpose, or reviewed who, report by reviewed or performed by who, they need a signature. You are not writing a signature and then print out those, send to your boss, not like that way, right? And then those are things, this is I believe we need to take those seriously. Why we are writing the same steps again for create account, why we under the one test case, why the two times we need to create account. If you are verifying, okay, if maybe for negative test, suppose your email address, same email address, or same what is called same name or same information, you want to verify that it got created or not, that is fine. Then that is steps you can write down. Okay, precondition will be what? Precondition will be account should be created successfully and username and password will be available, and then after that same username and password you want to try it, and then you want to see that account being created or not with existing one. That is different, that need to be check it. Okay, verify registered user registered user can create another account or not, that is different test case. So for negative one definitely you need to test also, that is going to be different name and different test ID. So it is not user able to, you wrote down here user able to register, but that one is registered user is able to create account same with the same information or not. That is precondition will be what? Your registered username and password should be available, correct, or registered email and password should be available, and then after that you can go to join and then step it. Lot of way you can write down the test cases. It is not like you are writing the test cases for one test cases you wrote and then you are verifying everything on the whole page, and then how you isolate how many test cases you got failed. Do you think this test case is going to be failed for 10 times? Are you agree or not? Anybody hear me? So I'm not sure, let's see, is there, yeah, people are there. So seems like you need to check it those, like definitely you need to isolate those test case and test case ID, and then you can provide. So our goal is write down the more test cases more better. So always they want to get the number. Oh, how many test cases are on the page? Oh, suppose like I have a 30. Oh, okay, so 30 test cases, create account, and then 30 test cases definitely is not going to be checking same thing, right? And then after that you can put it, oh, everything is working fine. End-to-end flow is after that is defined. For suppose like for order something, there is a menu, or you are going to order something from your menu, and then definitely they have some coupons for registered user, maybe 10% discount is there. So on that time 10% discount is applicable or not. Suppose one pizza, or maybe if you get one for registered user, if you order one you get a second one half, or maybe second one is free. There is a lot of promotion, lot of deal will be there, and then that time you need to verify those functionality is working or not. Definitely that time, or your prerequisite is you need to be registered. Your registered user name, email address or password should be available. That time is your precondition, and then find out those deal functionality, checking it is working or not. So that way you need to write down start. Definitely I'm appreciate, but this is the format you followed, we never discussed. That's why I wanted to warning you, like always follow the proper way, like whatever we showed you. Not like maybe you heard that from somewhere else, you got the template, but this is not we discussed last time. And then when you write down the steps, you need to be cautious. And then steps is not like 1 2 3 4 5, that is ALM steps. Step number, step name is there. We are not isolating step number and step name. Test case name, step name is different. So that way you can write down the test case. Oh, okay, test cases is that way. We will share with you later as well. So now that way I wanted to show you. You guys are clear? Any question? Because it is your first primary job. Most people automation or manual. Don't think automation is going to be write down the coded for his whole life. No, maximum 30 to 40% they write down that code, and other times 60% time they are also writing the test cases. They are also execute their test cases. And then you need to be very verified, because you are going on the company for 5 to 6 years experience, and then that 5 to 6 years, when they find out, okay, you are going over there, and then you are go over there for like 10,000 hours experience, and then I told, like, write down start any application. I told you, like, make it a group for like a 2 or 3 group. Just to tell me, like, okay, how many? I will give you the group wise. Hmm? Oh, three, four of each. We can make it a group, right? Okay. Let's start with. I will definitely. I need to monitor those. Like, okay, give you the example. I will make a group here. So you guys, let's start with what? First four. So three together, three. How many people you want to make a group? Like with 4 each or 3 each? 3 each. We can then make 4 application or four different group, and then combine. You can write down. So make a group. So let's start with write down. So group 1. So here, write down here, and group 3. You see, easy. And then Al Imran, correct? So I'm making for you guys group, and then we'll give you the assignment. Okay, here Bikash Bomik, then here Faisal. Then second group Farhana. So we want to monitor it, who is attending, who is doing or not, because you guys generally, I'm saying this, and then now its attendance is more, and then you are not participating. Definitely it is not a good. And then Naim, and oh no, this is actually a couple of those. You can Russell, Group 2. Who can else? So it seems like Sai. Oh, okay. So seems like multiple name is there. So here meme also there, right? Meme, Said, and anybody else? Okay. So those are groups. I recommended you just go through any application, any flight application, booking application, or create account like Pizza Hut or Walmart or something else, or Amazon. Don't go through the Amazon or Facebook right now because it's very big application and complex. Don't go through the complex application right now. Just the small steps is better. Because component, if you are familiar, getting like 4-5 times, 4 application or 5 application, if you before you're going to the job, before you write down any 4 or 5 application is fine, and then we will review each and other one, every group's assignment we will share, and then definitely that way we can eventually isolate. So we'll share with you this next week, I'm assuming. So yeah, before Sunday, like before Friday or Saturday. By Saturday you should, but I will recommend it to you by Friday is better. Saturday I have time to review those, if you could. uh, so and then definitely you can. Okay, so good. No, so one thing I also share with you guys, just to give me 10-15 minutes. So what is saying, like for summary report, last a lot of times you need to send the report daily basis, or sometimes sprint wise. You need to write down or a summary report for your manager. So those way I would say I'll recommend it to you guys, share with you how you can write down. Suppose like application name, you can write down application name. This is the one column, and then total number of the test cases or test cases, and then another one is test case available. So test case available, and another one is test case total or total test case attempted, attempted. And then another one is test cases not started. So here you already see this is getting overlap. For the technique purpose, we showed you last time. We have some techniques. Suppose you are writing here, you see lot of things is not viewable. So that time you can, how you can do that? So all the columns header, if you move your mouse between 2 columns, you see here you are under or hover your columns, and then it is showing down arrow. If you go move towards to B, and then you see your icon got changed, and then one bar and both side has arrow. So if you have those icon and then don't move your mouse, and just from your keyboard or from your touchpad double click, immediately it will expand. How is the size your by default? The same way, go here, double click, and then you see your column is got expanded by the size. So that way, there is the one technique you can also use it. very easily. Okay, so why I'm writing this? Sometimes they say your manager said, oh, okay, can you send me a report after your testing? And then that time, suppose you have a lot of test cases, and then how many tests is attempted today, and then what is the report, how many coverage is there. So ultimate goal is those, and then that is very handy also. How you can how you can write down your report. So then is very important is coverage, and then that one is quality, and then that is compose. So or composite actually, I will recommend it to also another one is personally I don't know how much you are practicing on your work, like a keyboard practice means like how much speed you have. If you have less than 25 to 30, I will recommend it to go to and then start practicing every day. Remember, every day, just 10 to 15 minutes, nothing else. If you go anywhere, just go over there and then because it is time consuming. Suppose same work, you need to work more and more if you have a speed less, and then that's sometimes your boss is there, and then behind he is saying something, and then you are writing, and then you are watching your keys, and then you use your one finger, and then you are writing the something. No, it's ridiculous. You cannot do that. So definitely you need to practice to improve your keystroke. Free typing or typing games or typing test or typing lesson. So if you click anywhere, and then there is lot of website is there, key hero is there, and then you can start anywhere, and then you just need to write down here, and then they will give you the word per minute or word per minute, how many word you can write down. So recommended is 25 to 30. Definitely you need to practice on it. You can start with anywhere in the over the internet. So that is also key, because when you write down a lot of things, lot of test cases, it will save you a lot of times, definitely. So let's get started. Suppose like our company, we wrote down this, and then this is for the reporting purpose. Suppose XYZ is our application app, a XYZ app. Okay, suppose how many test cases we have? Maybe we might have 51. Okay, and then this is maybe this is for ABC, and then ABC app. Right, sorry, not say here, ABC app. There is a total test cases is suppose like maybe 200, right? And then another one, what is app? There is 1, 2, 3 app. Suppose like there is a lot of app you are working on, like lot of test cases you have, and then maybe it has less. And then over there, how many you have? Just I'm writing. It is definitely when you work, you will know your app name, right? And then maybe you have 10. So how much is available? Definitely it's going to be available for maybe 51. Definitely is for, because it is regression. And then this is suppose like test cases. There is the test cases is there, but somehow this is for future for suppose this test case is not for Windows 7. Maybe they're targeting for this is running for Windows 10, but Windows 10 is not ready for that. Suppose application is under development, application is not ready for test. Definitely that time you will definitely write down those zeros, because it is not available. Or if your test cases, total number of test cases is there, maybe application is not built up yet, and then you cannot test for this sprint. So that's why you are not writing anything. So you can put as a zeros. So how many is attempted? Attempted is like suppose you have 51, and then definitely for the first day you are not going through all. Maybe you are 4 people, and then each you are running for 10. or maybe 11, you run 11 and other one 10. So that way you can make it, oh, okay, for first day you wrote down, or maybe 2 or 3 days if you work by yourself, maybe after 4 days maybe the status is like, oh, okay, you attempted those all test cases, and then it is depends on, so it is going through so on and on. And then which one is test case not started, it is suppose, oh, okay, here is the same thing, attempted minus available. So you are not started, you can write down here, or we may not. So based on that, how many test cases is passed, how many test cases failed. So suppose it's all got passes, so and then test passed or test case or test failed, so make it same way. It's better. So those way you can, here it is like zeros. And then here, how many test cases? Suppose you wrote down, oh, okay, end of the sprint, you may write down all, everything is fine, everything you started, and then everything is fine, available is there. Then you may have all are passed for your regression, and then eight test cases got failed for regression. And then previously maybe it was passed more, but now this is failed, maybe something is got corrupted with your new development. And then that's one is because it is not available, it is not started yet, so we wrote down all are zeros, correct, or something like that. And then suppose there is another column, so okay, maybe another column we can make. Suppose, do you know, I wanted to add one columns for not testable, because that one is not testable because it is not ready for that. So before G and H, I want to add one other columns after failed, another column I need to add for attempted. How are you going to add? So select those coverage column, and then you can right click on the column level, and then click insert. It will come here. So you write down test case not on test case not what, not testable, right? Testable. So and then you write here, double click, then it will going to be expanded. So that time, suppose this one is not testable, you wrote down those here. So this is the reporting purpose I'm saying. So you wrote down, okay, how many status is there, you attempted, you already done end of the sprint, and then it got passed for 9 and 1 is got failed, right? And then after that you are you are writing those all steps, all those things. And then not testable, you may make it 0, or you may leave it as a blank. It is no problem. If you have, suppose here you can write down, it is important also, but sometimes you may keep it, sometimes you may not. But those things, how many test cases, total test cases you have, how many is available is there, how many attempted is there, and then pass and fail, those we gonna tell you how you can coverage quality and compose gonna work. But in the meantime, suppose you are writing for all totals. Suppose here you make a report for total, and then how you can make a total, there's a two different way you can make a total, how many test cases altogether. So here when you write down the sum function, and then you can start with equal sign and then make it sum, and then sum will ask you which column to which column, or like which record to which record you want to make it sum. So I want to make it 2 parameters, you see, number 1 and number 2, you need to sum. So when you make it a sum function, equals and sum, it is built-in function, and then first parenthesis, and then after that the position is here from 51 through 10, right? So what is the position? This is B2, you see here in the corner, B2, and then you need to go through up to where, up to this. Just hold down your shift key from first column, and then shift left shift key or right shift key, anything, and then hold down and then click over there. That way you can do. Or if you want to do like that, then another way I want to show you, you need to write down sum, and then manually you can also write down. I can see here is the B2 and then B2, right? And then it's got selected and separated by colon, not semicolon, colon and B5. So and then it got covered, right? And then you close, You just enter it, and then you see 277 is got summed. When you click here, you already see the function. You see the function, how it is implemented. When you select, and then it will show you the blue line, which is got implemented. And then another way, there is the special keys is there. Sorry, what is called another shortcut is there. Suppose, do you need to do everything, right? We need to go, or all columns need to be added. How many attempted total, how many pass already total, how many fail already total. So all you need. So it is the shortcut key also you need to do. So suppose you make it one sum, and then after that, for B column you already make it sum, and then you want to implement same function for C, D, E, F, G, H, all you need to do. So how you can do that? There's another shortcut. If you mouse move on the corner all the way down right, and then you will see your mouse is going to be thick to thin plus. Here is thick plus white, and then here all the way here is different. So because there's a 3 stage, a lot of people they make mistake, and then you see here, if you are in the border, if you move it, suppose it got moved, your place is got moved, I don't want it, right? So when you go on the border, and then you can move the cell, I don't want to move the cell, I want to implement the all functionality with all columns, and then you need to go all the way corner, and then when you drag, everything is here, not all the way, because coverage and compose is different. I'll show you how. And then you will see here is 0 0 0 0 16 8 and 9, and then it got added automatically, it got implemented. How you know? When you move here, you see it automatically got changed C to 5. When you click here, D to D to 5. So all got implemented the same. So this is the easy way you can implement. You just implement for one and then apply for multiples. That's the shortcut way you can do, and then that way you can make it more faster. And then what is the coverage? So the coverage is, suppose I'll show you it here in the one place. Coverage is how you can make it as a, how you know the coverage. So coverage is equal to like how much you have available. So how much you actually not available is attempted. So how much is attempted and how much is available divided by available. So attempted divided by what? Available. This is the rules. This is the rule. So that's mean, so how much attempted by available. So attempted is what? Is for D2, right? This is the position, and then divided by what? D3. So sorry, C3, correct? Sorry, C2. Sorry, not 3. I am saying 3. So D2, D3 attempted by available. So this is the rules. Is when you go through here. So I will write down the another. I'll tell you why I'm writing this. So suppose you are writing if condition, because if it is a 0, logic state. So I'm saying okay, C3. You need to remember first, and then after that is going to be easy. So I'm going to. I'll tell you why I'm writing this, and then C3 slash C3. Right? We are dividing by this, and then close it, enter. So suppose why I'm writing those why I'm writing those steps, D3 by C3. Why? If it is something is here is empty, or maybe so when you write down, maybe your function is not available, or somehow they might delete it, and then whole application is going to be error, because you cannot divide it by 0. Because any mathematical terms we know, if you are divided by 0, and then it is going to be a null. If you are suppose any number, if you suppose if you have 0 on the top, and then you are divided by some number, and then what it will be is going to be 0 divided by any number is going to be equal to 0 as well, right? We already know. But if it is vice versa, suppose if any number if you are any number, if you are divided by 0, and then it's going to be not 0, it's going to be null. Or suppose you are divided by any number by 0. This is mathematical form. We don't, you already, it is 7 and 8 grade math. We already know. So that's why this is the condition, built-in condition. If condition has 3 parameter, first parameter is condition. So if it is true, then it is going to be this, else is going to be here, like that. Suppose what is the condition? If condition you already knows is that suppose like that, I will show you on the paint as well. There is the if condition. Suppose I'm saying value a is greater than 10, then pass, sir, or fail. Suppose I'm writing this functionality for that. So suppose I'm putting here is 9. So then it's going to be fail, right? It's going to be print fail. If value is 19, then a is greater than 10. 19 is greater than 10, definitely yes. So on is going, then is going to be pass. So if it is this true, that's mean this is true, this condition when it is true, then the result is showing to be this. If it is false, if it is true, then it's going to be like that. If it is false, then it's going to be third parameter. Second parameter is going to be pass. If it is fail, then the third parameter is going to be. So like that. Suppose if we have C available, that is suppose here, right? Here is 0. So definitely available is 0, and then our coverage is going to be 0. So that's why we put it 0 here, because we don't want to divide it. So that's why this condition it does. Otherwise, that will be fine. D3 by C3, because here, or D2 by C2, like that, something like that. So sorry, here is going to be, I'm putting wrong, that's why it is showing like wrong way. It is D2. You did not guys tell me, my bad, because it's row by row we want to do that. So I thought like, okay, there is a 2 column, so now it's fine. And then this is the number, but that one we want as a percentage wise. How you can do that? There is another shortcut is, suppose under the home tab, if you have a home tab, there is a lot of tab is there, right? This is called tab, menu tab. So home, under the home menu, then you will see here is the percentage button is there. So, and then there is a shortcut is Control Shift percentage. Both way you can do. When you click, and automatically it's become as a percentage. So you will see we had 51, and right now already we have 41 test cases attempted, and then all are passed. That means we are coverage 40%. So management want to know as of now how many percentage we got coverage. That is the one thing. And another one is, suppose the same way when we wrote down, and then we can implement for all, right? Did you see here its division is got changing, right? Why? Because of something is wrong. Did you see here? It's going to be C5. C5 is here. C5 is here. Okay, so I think something is going to be D2. This is D3, and then this is D3 by D3, because here there is something wrong. We make it mistake. Sorry, I will put it everything 333. So that's why. So now you see how you can modify it and then implement again. Now you see fine, because previously we make it 3 and then this, not like that. So definitely is going to be this column, same thing. If C is equal to 0, then make it 0. If it is not, then available attempted by available divided by, and then after that you will get the number and then make it percentage. So when you attempt to 1, and you can implement drag and drop all the way corner, and then after that you can make it as a equal total attempted or everything, whatever you want. So overall we have more coverage. So what is the quality? Quality is, it is also important. Sometimes you need to assess, because you are senior person maybe, or a small company, they will give you more burdens. Suppose like, okay, you need to you need to put the report, or you need to find out the report. So that is the quality. What is the quality? Quality is depends on how many you attempted, and then how many is how much you passed, right? So passed by attempted. So if you put passed slash, and then passed is where we already know what is the columns, and then how is attempted. So how we can implement this these things? What is the column? Because you can you can change it. When you change, just follow the column. So if you have moved column, then why you are putting here? Based on that, you need to put C or D. You already know. So where is the past column? Past column I have on F, right? So the same thing we need to write down. So F, and then what? F2, right? Definitely it is 2 on the 2 position, F2, and then what? D or here, or D2, right? F2 by D2. This is our rules. So this is we already have those rules, and then we have those because I will tell you because why it is we don't have percentage. We can make it as a percentage wise, and then it's going to be 100% because all are passed. Our quality is very good, and then and here we did not put the if condition. So definitely we need to put as a if condition as well. So if the same way it will work, but definitely you need to attempt those, and then definitely what? D2 and D2. If it is D2 equal to 0, and then make it 0. If it is not, then make a function, implement it. That is better approach. So same way it will come, and then just make a other one user. So now you'll see it got changed. So our here you see our attempted is 200, and then passed is 192. That means 96% we got achieved. And then here we have 10, and then 9 is passed, so 90%. That's correct, right? So those way we can make it these important 2 columns. We can make it quality and coverage. And then what is compose? Very easy. Composite is coverage into quality. This is a mistake. So coverage into quality. So coverage and quality what? So this here, what it will be equal to what? I, right? So I2 into this column to this column, right? J. So J2, correct? So we want to implement I and J, and then we hit OK, and then it will come like that. Definitely we will go through again percentage wise, and then we can implement the same way when we drag and drop, and then it will come our composite. So all composite is mean I and J. That means quality and coverage. Quality coverage. That way we can make it quality coverage. And then what is quality? Quality is how much you attempted, and then how much you passed, and then passed by attempted. Passed by attempted is your quality, and coverage you already know, attempted by available. Attempted by divided by available. So what is the position? You just put it with the position, the field position, and then implement those. And then when you are immediately if you have those, and then you can make it easily color coded. Last time you also saw it. You can make it as a table, and then put as a nice way you can make it. There is lot of way you can see lot of colors you can make, and then you just put it there, and then you can send them easily. You can send your manager, and then when manager will see this, and then they will love you. They will give, oh okay, this guy knows a lot of things as well. He's a manual tester, but also he is organized, and then he is very good, and then they will be happy definitely, no matter of what. Don't put this is for acknowledge, for your learning purpose, you already knows, and then those way you can find out. And then I already showed you how you can easily you can make it function for those, like how you can make it multiple things. So one thing, suppose there is last time I showed you or not, I am not sure. So suppose if you are writing something and then you need to multiply. Suppose you have a test cases. So tc 001 you wrote, and then suppose you come here and then you drag and drop, and then immediately you will see automatically it's got increment. Suppose you write down 1, and then yeah, you wrote down 1 here, and then you you drag it here, but you will see whiting showing 1 and 1 all. Oh, Russell, by drag it over there and it got increment, but why it is not increment right now? Because that's why what is Excel is knows. Oh, you want to make it copy. They don't know. They don't know you are incrementing. How you can do that? Suppose you need a 2 field. What is the difference between? Suppose you make it 2, and then 1 and 2. They knows what is the pattern. First one is 1 and second one is 2, and then you need to select 2 columns. From your shift key and then arrow down. From your keyboard, shift and arrow down. When you click it, shift and arrow down. When you select, you need to select like that. No, don't like control and then you select. Hold down your control key and then multiple you select both field. Not like that way. Don't do that. Skip here, come here, and then hold down your shift key and then click here. It will selected both column, and then now you can drag and drop. Did you see? It's got incremented. The same way the pattern 1 by 1 incremented. If you do something like that 5, and then how, and then if you select multiple fields, and then if you sorry, it's not got selected again, you got selected, and then right drag and drop, you see divided by 4, it incremented by 4 because the difference is 4. First 2 is different by 4, so that sequence they maintain. So those way you can easily drag and drop and then make it functional, and then a lot of built-in functionality is there. Suppose last time also I showed you, right? Sunday, and then it's Monday. We already showed you. I am not sure is that or not. Then you can increment is all the way. You can easily drag and drop, make it like that. Or your, if you need sometimes January or FEB, and then what will happen? You go over there, and then it will go to drag and drop like that way. If you write down June, July, sorry, June, July, August, January, January. If you write down, then when you go through this and then select those, and then you write down those all, you see all whole things is write down. First one is 3 character only, and then it's going to 3 character format. If you write down whole things, full name, and then your month name is going to be full as well. If you need to whole year, and then you can go through drag and drop. Those are small things you need to play with. And then another one is important for merging. Suppose you are merging something. So suppose what you have test cases is there, and then you wrote down some test cases or scenario, test scenario. So, and then somehow you need to, there is a two test case name, test name, and then here is TS1 test scenario, and then here is suppose like TC1, and just for I wanted to show you how it is. Suppose like this, both you need to for merge it. Merge means, and then you can make it as a like that. Oh, okay. This one scenario is covering for 2. Something like that. If you are undo, if you need undo, and then merge is back. Merge means you can you already knows there is lot of functionality is there as well. So, and then suppose is this tester, you need to filtering test pass or fail, right? Test status, or you can put it as a status. I wanted to make a shortcut. A lot of people knows, a lot of people doesn't know, and then I make it. Last time I will just showed you, right? And then pass. This is fail. This is blocked. and then this is not applicable, and this is fail again, and then we can write down so on, or we already knows, just for reporting purpose shortcut middleware can show, and then it got increased. And then after that, this is suppose test scenario 2, this is test scenario 2, this is test scenario 2 as well, and this is test scenario 3, just for reporting these things. And then how you can make it filter, go to the data and then select your whole columns and then go to filter, or anything in the field you can do that as well. And if you click filter button, you'll see drop down already implemented. When you click here, if you want to find out okay how many is failed, select uncheck all, select only failed one, and then you click and you will see here only failed is showing there. The same way operated by or prepared by or assigned by. If you have a lot of big teams, they assigned by, and then you can select your name, then how many test cases it is showing, you can go through. And suppose you are working on some test cases, and then you can go one by one, then make it some color or here when you're working on, and then after that any colors you can put it, and then or you already know, so at that time you did not run it, and then after that you make it color back. Oh, that one is done. So now you are working test case 6, and then this is you need to retest. Okay, then you can make it color back, and then that way you can isolate it. Okay, how many when you're working on lot of big files, that is handy. You can make it color, and which one you eventually, if you knows, oh okay, that you are currently working on. Suppose you are going to the bathroom and then come back again, they will already know, oh, you might forget 5 or 6 I want I did. So that time you can make it color when your current test case which one is working. So if you have a big name, you already know this wrapping word is working fine for anything. So if you have a description, if you have a big description, you can add more columns. You can write down, right, and then how it is going to be overlapped, and or maybe it will not show. But if you put wrapped, and then it automatically going to be wrapping inside the field. Those things you need to take it. And then suppose here, if you are putting some condition, and then here is the tables, there is a highest number or a lot of colors you can do, and then top cell greater than or is greater than. Suppose they are saying, oh okay, I wanted to check it for coverage, which one is make it color. You can make it especially if it is less than 90%, then it's going to be colored or something like that. It's less than, suppose you are selecting whole columns, and then go to the condition format, and then highlighted cell, and then go to the less than, and then they said, oh, they wanted to show if you have less than 90%, and then it's going to be monitor. And then after that, you see, is already these two are got colored. Even though if you are changing those, suppose if you are attempting those are you are already attempt, and then suppose you are making those all those things and then pass everything together. Now its report is 0, and then this is going to be 0, and then now is attempted, and then definitely is going to be handy. And then you can find out, oh, that is working as expected. Go here, greater than, and then as 90%, same way you go, then it's less than, or not greater than actually, or 90%, it definitely actually the wrong one. So less than 90%, it will show red. Definitely here is good condition. Which one is red, which one is right, that all will show you here. So anything for the reporting purpose, lot of small things. If you have a formula, you can write down. Suppose for your I would say for your columns, you're selecting here, and then if you need to what is called if you are don't need to write down anything, you can make it format alphabetical wise, or a lot of way you can ascending and descending order wise you can make a report. Suppose like you see here, when you select from, suppose your application is, you want to make it as alphabetical order, and here there is a order wise A to Z or Z to A. You can make it. It will go through like that. You see, left side is got changing. That is the assert. So not asserting, sorry, sorting by A to Z or Z to A. So that way you can move it. Lot of things you can do. Basic small things you need to go through, and then when you print out, there is a there's option is, lot of times we got difficulties. Suppose you want to print out something, then go here, you want to print, go print option, and then when you click, you see here only 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and then it got 3 pages, and then the rest of this is going to be the different pages. So definitely when you print out, you don't want it, right? So that way how you can make it printable. So what you need to do, that is also important. Sometimes you need to print it. So zoom out. If you do, suppose you need to select the whole table, and then go to file, and then go to print option, and then when you go to the print option, you will see no scaling. Click from there, and then all columns in one page. When you click there, it is going to be smaller, but remove those other things, is going to be printable. And if it is a portrait mode, so if you make it as a page, as a landscape, and then after that you can do that. So that is also important when you print out, and then now you get more roaming, and then you can print out. So okay, so today is almost, now is lot of times is expanded. You just practice on it. This is important for your test report, quality, coverage, and compose, and then how you can make a report that you can make by your own, make a templates on your own, and then save it somewhere, and then write down the formula, and then when you go to the office, you can implement, and then everybody will be happy for that. So and another thing, I'll remind you back. So by today, I will give you some sample question for database, and then keep practice on it, because 2 or 3 days, if you practice on the database, definitely you will not getting pass. I'll give you the sample question, but if you are not getting those, anybody just email back me, and also write down the test cases as well. So for today, right now I'm leaving for the meeting, and then keep practice. So goodbye for everyone. Before goodbye, just trying to ask you one question: is anything about this reporting or other stuff? Do you have any question? Any guys? Okay, seems like everybody's fine, I'm assuming. So bye for now, and see you next week or Thursday. Let's see.